dedicated. San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there. Braden Surprenant on the Braden Surprenant Show with Frank Marchese. I am back from Italy. It was a fun 2 weeks in Italy, in the country that my family has, most of my family has immigrated from to the United States. It was cool to visit and be able to follow along with the Padres just at weird hours out there in Italy. It was a fun trip. I'm glad to be back. It was right around the end of the trip. Everybody in our group, my family, was excited to be back in San Diego. And I'm excited to be back talking Padres baseball with all of you guys. I know Frank's been dreading this day in terms of not being back, because I know he missed me. We talked about that before. But in the sense of listening about how great of a country Italy is that I went and visited, that Frank has so desperately wanted to go to. And Frank, you're going to go there eventually in your time. It's going to be, you're going to make it there.
Really,
and when you do, you're going to enjoy it.
Really cool of you for the team building exercise to take me on this trip with you. That was really nice of you.
We got to get one of those sponsorships. We do the we'll go out there for the Euro. There you go. And we'll broadcast all the Euro games. We'll talk about them all for our audience that really loves and enjoys soccer. So overall, I'll recap kind of my trip here in the first kind of segment to get it out of the way. And then we'll talk a lot of Padres baseball today. Padres have a winning road trip. They go 4-3 on the road trip. It's been fun kind of watching from afar the Padres be able to win games they shouldn't. It hasn't been fun watching them lose games they shouldn't. But overall, the reactions from fans, when you take a step back a little bit, it's just kind of funny to watch. And I experienced that a lot with my friends in their group text when it was, waking up in the morning every day in Italy. I'd be waking up right around the time my friends would be going to bed. It's a 9-hour difference. And I'd wake up to like 250 to 300 text messages and group texts, live reaction to the Padres game. I've never really been able to be a part of it. It was fascinating. So before I would check the score of what the Padres did and watch some of the highlights, I would read through my friends' group chats. And I'd get a full, almost play-by-play of every game that I had missed from my friends live reacting to, this guy sucks. This guy's a tired act. I'm tired of watching this guy play. Followed by that same player doing something really well. And this guy's the greatest player of all time. Sign him to a contract extension. This is some of the things that we say, outlandish things about the Padres as the game goes on. But when you look at it outside of the vacuum that we're usually in, it's just kind of funny to watch. It's just kind of funny to watch. And so overall on the trip, I paid attention to the Padres. I was able to follow along. Some of the games I was able to watch live a little bit. It was a little bit, those day games were playing at like 10 o'clock p.m. in Italy. So that wasn't too much of a daunting task because, it's like watching on the East Coast. But you look at the way that the Padres played since I was gone, they're now a game out of first place. I mean, they did what they've needed to do. I don't know how, to be honest with you, I don't know how this team is winning. I mean, I went into like going to the break, defending certain players. The Padres right now, aside from Manny Machado, are lousy on offense. I mean, they stink. It's not good. I don't think it's an offensive philosophy problem because at the beginning it was working, and right now it's not. They got a couple of players that are not hitting very well. Fernando's obviously had one of the worst months of his career in the month of May. Hasn't really gotten that much better in June. Jackson Merrill has gone through a little bit of a slump. Still hitting over 300 or close to it, despite having a slump. Xander Bogaerts hasn't really done anything in the last month and a half. And yet, despite all of that, and really Manny Machado carrying the offense, because it's not like the catching situation has gotten any better. Left field continues to be a cluster. You're not really getting any other production anywhere else in the lineup. Even Rise has been okay, has been great. And you're still winning baseball games. It's amazing. So from that perspective, I think you got to look at the situation and go, yes, if they continue to play like this the rest of the year, it's not going to end well. I don't think anybody could disagree with that. But at the same time, it's better to be going through some of these growing pains and some of these slumps while still winning games. Because as I mentioned before, I left a couple of times, and some people laughed. When you have a hole in your team, when some facet of your team is not doing well, whether it be the offense, whether it be fielding, or whether it be pitching, the other side needs to step up. And right now, the pitching staff and the defense has stepped up mightily for the Padres. That's why they've been able to win, despite having one of the worst offenses I've seen out of this Padres team in the last month or so. First month of the season was great. And you saw spurts of that over the weekend. I thought the ninth inning on Saturday was that shine of what the offense can do and the philosophy they have of being aggressive and working at bats and driving the ball the other way. I mean, they put together an inning that they needed. Unfortunately, Morgan gave up a home run on the first pitch that he threw. Those games are going to happen. The two games that they had in San Francisco that didn't go very well. The second two games after you stole the first two, they played well enough in those two games to win. At least on the was it the Wednesday game? The Wednesday night game they should have won. They should have won the Wednesday night game. But they should have lost the Monday and Tuesday game. They stole those games and then ended up losing. That's baseball. You're going to get that more times than not. But I remember on the trip a couple of times. Look, I tried to. It's hard because you want to spend time. I'm trying to spend time with my family. And here's the deal. Like most of the day, everybody out here is asleep because of the time difference. But when I was out and about, I was trying to separate myself from work and at the same time stay cognizant of what's going on with the Padres. That's why I would read the daily newsletter when I woke up, or actually that night, because it would come out later from Kevin Acee, watch the highlights, watch when I could. But I would get some messages from people about this guy needs to do this and this guy needs to do that and whatever. And I was like, brother, I'm on vacation right now. If you got any gripes with the way the guy has an approach at the plate, send Victor Rodriguez an email. I'm sure he'll get back to you. But I look at, we warned you. I've warned you about this before. You can't overreact to wins and losses in the middle of a baseball season. You got a long season to go. A very long season to go. It's only June 9th. You got to make it through the rest of June. You got to get through all of July. You got to get through August. And you got to get through September. And you're going through this like overreacting after every win and loss. And I'm just saying, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. And that's why as we get ready for the first edition of Padres and Dodgers in 2025, and this will be a talking point later in the show, it needs to be treated like any other series. Now, the Padres, I think, on the field have done that the last couple of years. This is not an organization anymore that gets psyched out by the blue and white. They don't. That used to be the case. It is no longer. Now it comes in the stands. Obviously, you want to enjoy the rivalry. That's what makes sports fun. But at the same time, I think the mindset of knowing that it's just another series, that is what gets you over the top when it comes to playing rivalry series like this. The Padres have multiple rivals. They have division rivals. Obviously, the most notable one in the Los Angeles Dodgers. I would consider the Giants a rivalry. Now, just because the Padres fans and Giants fans don't butt heads too much, and it's not as aggressive on the field, still a rivalry. You play them all the time. Another team in the state of California you have to compete with, a traditional team that came out west from New York, just like the Dodgers, a team that has gotten the better of you more times in your history than not. But there's not that, they don't overhype that series. The Padres played just fine. You have series like that against the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Those are rivalries too. You got your interleague rival in the Seattle Mariners, but there's just this overhype sometimes of the Padres-Dodgers series. I'm not saying don't enjoy it. I'm not saying be super involved and be excited, because it should be playoff atmosphere baseball the next 3 days at Petco Park. But it needs to be treated like any other series that you would play in the regular season, because that's what it is. It's a regular season series. If you play them again in the playoffs and you want to get super hyped about it, sounds good. That'd be a time to do so. But until you get to that point, you're still playing the war of attrition and making it through the year, and you're just trying to take 2 out of 3 from whoever's in front of you. And the Padres have played better teams than the Dodgers this year. I think Chicago is better than LA, as constructed right now. Padres split with the Chicago Cubs. I would argue that the Brewers, being a little bit red hot by the time you played them, was probably playing a little bit better than what the Dodgers are. The Dodgers pitching staff is not good right now. And it's matching up with a very bad offense for the Padres right now. It's going to be an interesting matchup to watch, which we'll talk about more later on in the show. We got tons to break down when it comes to Padres-Dodgers. We're going to take that in the second half of the show. We're going to break down a lot of the games over the weekend against the Brewers coming up in this hour. We will also talk about the House settlement that has been, they should have had an announcement earlier today, and how that affects San Diego State in the future of athletics for San Diego State. That will be in the 11 o'clock hour, and to finish up the show, Dave Vassegh at 1:35. When we come back, I'll talk about the trip I had in Italy, and we'll talk more about what the Padres did over the weekend against the Milwaukee Brewers. Braden Surprenant Show just getting started on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:17 on a Monday morning. Good to be back here in America's finest city in San Diego, California. Braden Surprenant, the Braden Surprenant Show. Middays from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The mustache stayed, Frank. I kept the mustache.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I cleaned up on the side a little bit, but I was like, if I'm going to go to Italy, why shave the mustache before Italy? I might as well keep the mustache to that point. Now, I'm not married on it, but a lot of people keep saying like, oh, the mustache is still here. So you guys want to keep it, fine. But I think it sets up perfectly. If the Padres go into a bigger slump, shave it. Maybe it'll change the magic a little bit.
There you go. Get yourself out.
I trimmed it before I left. And so this is kind of back to 2 weeks again. So I obviously know now how long it takes to grow said mustache, in which my sister, because my brother had a mustache too, would on the trip called us Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, that's why I would have assumed you would have shaved it off, is to avoid all that.
Mario. We'll briefly talk about the trip to Italy. A lot of people wanted to know about it. We started off in Rome. So the whole Italy trip, we've been trying to go to Italy. Look at Frank. He's just like, I can't believe this. Is it going to make it worse if I share pictures on the stream?
Oh, just do what you're going to do.
So anyway, my mom has been wanting to go to Italy with her kids for ever. I mean, it's been like a long time, and it's been a trip that I've put off of trying to get time off for years, and then they finally pulled the trigger on doing it last year for the summertime, and it was in honor of my mom's birthday. It's her 60th birthday this year, so we decided to go to Italy, and so this is our first kind of day in Rome. If you're watching on the YouTube chat, Rome was awesome. This is the Spanish Steps that we went and checked out. I really enjoyed Rome. I thought Rome was, if I had to rank the cities that I went to in Italy, I thought Rome was up there. My favorite was Santa Margherita, and I'll get to that in a second. But the first city that we went to was Rome. Went to Spanish Steps, and went to the fountain here and everything like that. That, by the way, I walked past this thing probably 100 times since being down there. But it was fun. And it was just the architect, there's the Pantheon or whatever. I did a bunch of tourist stuff in Rome, and there were so many cool parts about Rome. Like they had, this tribute to Victor Emanuele, the first king of a united Italy, which was a magnificent structure. We saw the Colosseum, went to the Roman Forum. I mean, did all the touristy things in Rome. I mean, there were so many beautiful parts of Rome that I didn't even realize existed, like over by the river, on the side of the Vatican that you can see in these couple of pictures that I took. I took a lot of scenic shots that I'll be posting on my social media pages. Again, all these pictures that I'm showing on the YouTube chat, you could check out on my social media, on Twitter and everything like that. I went to the Vatican. I thought that was the very impressive place to be. Obviously, but there was so much in Rome that I thought was super cool. And again, if you want to see all those photos, I don't want to just go one by one on the photos like I'm giving a class presentation. But
no, it wasn't even that.
It was beautiful.
It was my aunts went on a vacation. Let's now force the family to sit and watch a slideshow of all the pictures that we just saw.
I really enjoyed Rome. The food in Rome was so good. I mean, there was I got some good recs from people, and the best restaurant that we went to the entire time that we were there, was a restaurant that was given to me as a rec from the color analyst of TCU football, Landry Bourdine, and he told me about this place in Rome. Get there, they're booked, whatever. My dad goes like, I don't have a reservation, and the guy was like, get out of here. And then I was like, he's like, well, we can't get into this place. And I was like, why don't we send my mom up there just to be nice? So she walks in, buonasera. And then he worked her magic, got a table. We had some carbonara, some good. I mean, the food was just incredible. The wine was all good. And the best part about Italy, dude, and I was telling Frank about this, like their food doesn't have BS in it. Like American food's got all these chemicals and all this BS that like goes into your body. I ate all this bread and pasta pizza and there's carbs on carbs on carbs. I maintain my weight the entire time. You have wine in Italy, and when I drink wine, like if I drink enough wine, with the sugar and the wine, everything, I usually have a headache. Zero headache drinking any of the wine in Italy. It was just so, I mean, everything there was just so good and so pure. And it was, the food was ecstatic. The people there are very, very nice. A lot of people in Italy speak English now. I mean, a lot of the younger people speak English. So it wasn't too hard, but we try to immerse ourselves in the culture, the buongiorno in the morning, the buonasera in the afternoon, buonanotte, some of the things that just, tried our best as much as we could, but everything in Rome was great. The Vatican was, for me, going to the Vatican as growing up a Catholic was just it was just a different level of just awe, and the paintings, and you can't take pictures of the Michelangelo paintings in the Sistine Chapel. I mean, but that was I was in awe the entire time walking through there. And it was kind of cool, like being in the Vatican when you have, as an American, with the first American Pope. I mean, there's something cool about that as well. So Rome was great. I loved everything about Rome. It was my number 2 city that we went to. From Rome, we went to Florence on a bullet train. We took a lot of the trains throughout northern Italy. Florence was great too. We learned, we went and made pasta in Florence. Florence is beautiful. Firenze is beautiful. I got to go back to show the pictures on the Florence stuff. I mean, it is a gorgeous city. Very arts. I mean, we saw Michelangelo's David in Florence as well. Didn't go in the Duomo. That was kind of hard to do, but it was amazing being in Florence. And when I'm talking about the most, just walking around Florence, right? As I show some pictures, and there's David. But walking around, the coolest part was like this place to go watch the sunset, and you're in Tuscany. It was just beautiful views of Tuscany, in Italy. The architecture, the churches, I mean, the culture and everything like that, was just awesome. In Florence, we didn't spend enough time in Florence, so it was kind of hard, to really get a grip on that, but Florence was cool. Took a day trip to Pisa to check out the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Pisa was okay. I wouldn't really go back there. It was not as it wasn't like a big cultural city. They got the Leaning Tower, which was still impressive to look at. The sinking tower in reality. But after that, it was I wouldn't spend more than a half day in Pisa. But that was cool. And then my favorite place was Santa Margherita. And a lot of people didn't know about Santa Margherita, and not a lot of Americans go to Santa Margherita, but this is a place where, this is the place Frank needs to go, because everybody here is an Inter Milan fan, and it is their beach. This is where the people of Milan vacation, in Santa Margherita, and it was super cool. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was like being in Southern California. Really awesome with the Portofino, which is not too far from Santa Margherita. Beach vibe, get to be on a boat. I mean, this is kind of the most relaxed I was. I mean, that's a great Hinge photo right there. I might have to add that to my repertoire, if I don't say so myself. Moving through, again, pretty cool stuff. In Santa Margherita, that was probably my favorite place. From there, we went to Lake Como. Lake Como was beautiful. I got to see where they shot, the scenes from Star Wars when it was Naboo, and got to see the villa that they, from a distance that they shot in Ocean's 12, and, in Lake Como with the Bellagio, which I thought was a really cool place to be. That was awesome. And then we finished up the trip, taking a train to Venice, got to see St. Martin's Square, went up their little steeple tower thing that they got there, went into St. Mark's, cathedral that had some beautiful paintings and everything like that. But it was overall just a great time. And it was fun to check it out. I mean, that was the first time I've ever left this continent. I've been to Mexico a handful of times, but most of the times growing up as a kid, I took mostly family road trips. We would do a lot of national parks and everything like that. So it was cool to go to some places that my parents went to before they had us. And it was a fun trip overall. Great people, great culture, loved everything about being in Italy. And then I splurged a little bit on the flight back to fly Delta One, which was phenomenal. They got spoiled in the Delta One flight back, but it was a great time overall. Any questions, Frank?
I am oh so very glad you had a good time. I'm not jealous at all. I don't hate you at all. I don't wish for this segment to be over as soon as humanly possible. And again, I'm very, very happy that you had such a good time without me in the motherland for 2 weeks.
I think we need a travel company sponsorship, and we'll do Frank on the road.
Yes.
Where in the world is Frank? It'll only be Italy, because that's the only place he'll go. But that's what we should do. Something to do that with, like, Inter Milan reference. Got to see some of the soccer stadiums, the pitches, if you will. The Como one's sweet, right on the water.
Yes, it is.
Had a couple
beautiful.
of people DM me going like, "Oh, you're going to Lake Como? I always want to watch the soccer match there." So anyway, that was the trip. It was pretty fun. I had a great time. The best meal I had was in Rome with the carbonara. Like I said, we had like tiramisu almost every night, gelato almost every day. And the best part is I didn't gain any weight because they don't have a lot of BS in their food. It's all like natural food, which is great. What I'm here for. So it was cool. It was a fun trip. I know a lot of people that gave a lot of recs. We really appreciate, some of those recs. Again, the best restaurant I went to was in Rome. I got to go get I got to remember where it was sent to me so I could pass it along. But it was such a fun time. I had a great time with my family. It was good. I mean, my sister doesn't live here anymore. She lives in Nashville, so it was good to spend 2 weeks with her, 2 weeks with the fam. The weather was still good, and it was before it starts getting really hot in Italy. I mean, as we were leaving, it was getting super hot. Like Venice felt like Florida, dude. It was like swampy and humid as whatever. We stayed in a nice hotel in Rome, and a nice hotel in Venice, and stayed in Airbnbs in between. But overall, it was a great trip. Taverna Trelusa was the place. Taverna Trelusa was the place that we went to. That was my favorite restaurant that we went to. It was great. And it's a lot of walking too. I mean, I walked, I had close to 30,000 steps each day for the first 3 days in Rome.
Yeah, that's why people in Europe aren't fat, man, because they walk everywhere.
But that was only the first couple of days. And after that, Como, you're not walking a lot. You're taking a lot of ferries. Santa Margherita, there wasn't too much to walk around at, right? Rome was very much walk everywhere. And then the other thing is in Rome, the day we were leaving, they had a taxi strike out of nowhere. They'd find some Uber to get us to the train station in time to be able to go. The trains were cool, but it was great. I mean, you could plan, I don't, people do 2 week trips in Europe. I mean, I couldn't imagine them only being in Italy for 2 to 3 days. I mean, we were 2 to 3 days in Rome, 3 days in Rome, 2 days in Florence, half day in Pisa, 3 days in Santa Margherita, 2 days in Como, and 2 days in Venice. And it felt like we didn't have enough time in all those cities.
Yeah.
But Italy was great. I mean, we didn't get to go to Cinque Terre because it was super busy and everything like that. It was in the Italian Riviera area that we were in for Santa Margherita. But, planes, trains, automobiles, took it all in Italy. I don't know how many other countries I like to go to in Europe. But Italy is you get such great food, and just the people are nice, and it was a great time overall. My brother a couple of times was like, I wonder how many people are walking around thinking oh, know that we're engaged in watching Padres baseball right now, walking through the streets of Italy. I'm going to tell you right now, I saw a lot of Padres fans in Italy.
Stop.
I saw a lot of Padres gear in Italy. I saw at least one Padres hat or shirt in every city I went to in Italy. Facts.
Fair enough.
I don't know how many of those were study abroad students. I don't know
plants.
How many. Yeah, plants, exactly. But there was a lot. There was a lot of Padres. I saw more Padres fans than Dodger fans, I'll tell you that. I don't know if that means anything. Maybe the Italians know. They know ball. They like the Padres.
That just means we got to start Forget about sending scouts to Japan. AJ Preller, if you're listening to this, forget about sending scouts to Japan. Send them to Italy now. We've already lost Japan. Send them to Italy. That's where you need to go. That's where you'll find the next Ohtani in Italy.
The next DiMaggio.
Yes.
All the Italians that were kicking ass in like the 20s and 30s in baseball.
Exactly.
And make sure you bring Frank with you.
We're in the 20s and 30s right now, and yes, I would be more than on board to help you out.
You're just finding different entities to try to bring you to Italy with them.
Yes. And I'm going to do so unabashedly.
Frank, is that a trip? Is TripAdvisor pulled up on your computer screen right now? Is he planning his trip?
Shut up, man.
He's planning his trip. It was a great time. I really appreciate it. For everybody that gave some recs, big thank you to Matt Scraby for filling in for a lot of the days. He did a great job filling in for 2 weeks. Big thanks to Nick DiNucci and Hamby for helping him out the first couple of days. Big thanks to Frank for doing that. Frank had to work multiple shows the last 2 weeks.
Worked all 3 shows these last 2 weeks.
Worked the morning show too?
Yeah, Paul was on vacation
Nice.
in Vegas when you left.
I only have one other day that I have to have off in this month, and then after that, you guys are stuck with me for the rest of the year because I have nothing else to go to.
Oh, no. Braden's going to be here.
Exactly.
Means we can't run wild anymore.
I got so many people going like, nobody's talking about food on this show. Where's the food talk? We'll talk about the Italian food maybe at the noon, but we have a new noon sponsor that we'll unveil coming up in the lunchtime hour. A new lunchtime hour sponsor. That's very delicious tacos. I got to bring Frank there. We'll get you some of your phone calls about the Padres weekend, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll talk about what the Padres have done over the last couple of weeks and why I don't think it's time to panic about the offense. But that being said, it's not sustainable. So they do need to make some things happen. We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, sending us #1 Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 10:40 on a Monday. Some good news from Frank. We'll talk about later in the show, maybe if he allows us to.
No, we're good. We're good on that.
Are we sure?
Yeah, I'm positive on that.
I just want everybody in the chat to send good vibes to Frank.
Thank you.
Tonight.
Appreciate that.
Good night for Frank. Frank's going to Shelter Island tonight. He's going to have a great time. I'm excited for Frank.
Thank you. Appreciate
good vibes. We'll have the full report tomorrow. It's good content, dude. It's good content.
I bet it is.
It's going to be good content.
I bet it is. I bet it would be.
It's your food choice.
Just
picking some food up? You picking some food up?
You know. Listen, here, look at Rod in the chat. Thanks, bud.
That's what Rod does. That's what Rod does. Ignore Rod. People listening still don't. We're dancing around it. What's our food tonight?
Oh, we're just sandwiches. It's a.
I told you, Mona Lisa.
I know.
Shameless plug. I have no affiliation with them, but you know what?
It's, again, another one.
Add it to the list.
Yeah.
Buonasera.
We could have multiple.
Good afternoon.
We could have multiple. We could have multiple food sponsors for the noon hour.
Or just for other hours.
That too.
We do not discriminate here. You don't want to get Kraft Taco instead?
It's
kind of away. You have to go up there.
It's a little ways away.
Picnic, nice.
Yeah, well, you know.
We're sending you positive vibes. Positive vibes for Frank.
Thank you.
Don't let me get in your head. I'm considered the frog to my friends.
Yeah,
one frog. Yeah.
Couldn't imagine why.
Frog. It's a better nickname than the other. So my buddies have nicknames for everybody. I don't know if I've told this before. Probably because I don't want anybody in the chat calling me by the nickname that I get. I don't mind Frog. I think Frog's fine. I'll handle Frog.
That's fair.
One of my friends wants the Frog to catch on. He's like, yeah, so in like 25 years when you're at the holiday happy hour and some 15-year-olds go, I was like, oh, that's Braden the Frog Surprenant. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work, dude. Especially
when it's far enough away that people forgot or don't care to look into the fact that you went to TCU.
Yeah, they're going to be like, what's with the frog? So anyway, he wants that to like really pass on. He's like, he's like trying to like overemphasize it in group texts and stuff like that. The frog. I don't know about that. No. That's not what they call. So my buddy Mike, he calls everybody by the name of the mascot of the college you went to. So he's Peter for Peter the Anteater. Makes sense. My buddy Matt, who a lot of people know in the chat, is the guy that had a bad record for the Padres. He's now flipped that in going to games. He's going to the game tonight with Mike, a.k.a. Pete the Anteater. He went to Washington State. His nickname is Butch. Butch T. Cougar. My dad went to San Diego State. They call him Mont. Or Monty Montezuma at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're understanding where this is going a little bit. They call my sister Prowler the Panther in High Point. My mom has her own nickname. She likes to call herself Dizzle on her little tracker that she has, that heart monitor thing that they have at the gym, or something like that. She put Dizzle on there, so she gets that instead of Wilma. But you understand like where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So if you want to use this, I mean, where did you go again?
About that. I went to City College.
What's their mascot?
It's the Knights, I believe.
Does the Knight have a name? Like I went to Grossmont for a little bit too.
I don't know.
Like,
I went there for one semester.
Does the Grossmont Griffin have a name? But anyway, as you go, like that would be your said nickname.
I went there for one semester. I don't know.
So anyway, do you know what TCU's mascot's name is?
No, I do not.
It's Super Frog. How do you call somebody Super Frog? They don't think that was lame. It's like Pete, Butch, Mont. I mean, think about like some of the old school names. And so they were like, well, why don't we just call you Gary for Gary Patterson because he used to coach there. So they call me Gary. I hate that name. Gary.
Isn't it?
I already act like a 50-year-old man. I don't need a 50-year-old man's name.
I just saw 97.3 The Frog. Isn't K-Frog one of our affiliates for Padres?
It is.
So there you go.
Frog. I'll take Frog. I'll take Frog over Gary. Sushi Sam in the chat wants a nickname so bad, but unfortunately, we've ran out of San Diego State Aztec nicknames, so we can't find one for him. He doesn't have one yet. He wants one so bad. So who knows? Anyway, so that's the Frog term. Yeah, I guess you can go by whatever school you root for. Penn State, isn't there?
Well,
for
me,
Lion?
it's Hofstra. It would be the Pride. I don't think the Lion has a name.
Does it have a name? Anyway,
look up now.
That's the deal. I don't want to bore people with that, but that's the thing. He doesn't have a nickname. Well, neither does my friend Will doesn't have a nickname either. He also went to San Diego State. So, love a Gary Patterson tantrum on the sideline. So do we.
Oh my God. Okay, the Hofstra Pride mascots as of 2001 are Willie and Kate Pride.
Willie. Nice. This is where my buddy runs into trouble, though. He calls, and I can't even say it on the radio because he's going to get in trouble. He's just going to be eviscerated. But, he calls everybody by this, and sometimes he just does it behind the scenes. So, they have all these nicknames for other people that they don't know that that's their nickname. And so, there's, Buster the Bronco from Boise State. We know who a Buster is. There's a Musty the Mustang for anybody who went to Cal Poly. So, Musty, it's not a great nickname for people.
No.
Right? And so, when you go, Musty, out of context, people immediately go, I'm sorry, their nickname's what? Who are you talking about? Musty?
It's a great icebreaker, though.
You know what?
It's a great icebreaker.
You can start that tonight. Do we know the college? If we do a little research. That I don't think that's a date 1 thing. That might be a date 2 or 3, maybe a 3 or 4. For you act ridiculous like me and my friends. But anyway, that's it.
By the way, this is about as red as I'm going to get, especially seeing some of these chats. Illy, you're on ban watch for me, or Ill619. You're on ban watch for me after one of those posts that I saw.
No.
That will not be happening. By the way.
Oh God. Anyway, this all started. We've come full circle now. Send positive vibes to Frank. We will know based on whether or not that violin plays at the beginning of the show tomorrow, if it was good or not. I digress. YouTube chat. I've run the YouTube chat off the rails. Let's talk about the Padres for a second. Pitching staff has carried this. I'm going to rephrase it. The pitching staff and Manny Machado have carried this team the last couple of weeks. The pitching staff's been unbelievable. I mean, think about all the shutouts they have this year. The amount of shutouts they have this year is utterly ridiculous. I mean, then we're talking about historical shutout numbers at the beginning part of the season. They continue to add to that. And if you look at in the Padres Daily Newsletter by Kevin Acee, the pitching, or should I say the pitchers that have been a part of these shutouts. These are all the starting pitchers that have been part of these shutouts. Vassegh, Pivetta, King, Pivetta, Hart, King, Pivetta, Kolek, Vassegh, Berger. That's a lot of your bottom end of the rotation. I mean, King's in there twice, Pavetta's in there 3 times, but you got a shutout out of Kyle Hart. You got 3 shutouts out of Kolek. You have 2 shutouts out of Vassegh. You got a shutout out of Berger yesterday, who was making his 2nd career start as a starting pitcher. I mean, the pitching staff has been insane, but you cannot rely on the pitching staff to just continue to throw shutouts night in and night out without any offense. The pitching staff over the weekend was great. Starters in Milwaukee, 15 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts, 12 walks. Padres pitching allowed 4 runs on 16 hits this series. Here's what Mike Schilt had to say about the pitching staff this weekend in Milwaukee.
Specifically, the pitching, phenomenal. These guys are, really, really throwing the ball very well. catchers are doing a good job with him. Maldi today, Diaz as well. Burger was fantastic. Ran a little trouble in the sixth. Emptied his tank on the long 9-pitch to rank at bat, and was pretty much out for Cheerio. But then the guys' bullpen been fantastic. We passed the ball around, had to, and feel confident doing that.
Pitching staff was exceptional. On the road trip, pitching staff has been exceptional the last couple of weeks. Pitching staff has been carrying this team with Manny Machado. Manny Machado has been single-handedly carrying this team on offense. You've seen some bright spots here and there. I think you've seen a couple of good at-bats out of some of the players, but Fernando's in a drip right now. Jackson Merrill's not playing to the level that he was at the beginning of the season. He's in a little bit of a slump. It's bound to happen. It's baseball players. Even the best of the best go through a little bit of a slump. Xander Bogaerts hasn't been playing well. You go through the entire order for the Padres. Left field's nothing. Catching situations, nothing. And you're still winning games because of Manny and because of the pitching staff. Offensively, it's not sustainable. Padres are getting hits, but they're not scoring runs. In 26 games since their 21-0 win, they've scored more than 5 runs, total of 6 times. 4 of 9 opponents have been in the lower half in batting average against. Padres have fallen into the lower half of Major League Baseball in hits and lower third in slugging, and a 36-run differential. Negative 36 run differential since their 21-0 win. Here's what Mike Schilt had to say about the road trip and the lack of offense.
I know people are like, well, we got to score. And I hear that part, and our guys hear it. But I do think there should be a pause and appreciation, at least from my seat, for this road trip. I mean, these guys, man, you talk about grinding. They got after it. 6 1-run games, 1 2-run game. Guys playing a little banged up. Facing really good pitching, playoff type baseball executed. Manny with another big swing today, obviously, but I couldn't be more pleased with this road trip overall, and just the dedication to competition, the quality of bats against 2 really good clubs that pitch very, very well.
They played against a couple of teams that have been hot in Major League Baseball. They're able to come out with wins. They split in San Francisco, probably could have taken 3 out of 4. At the same time, probably could have lost 3 out of 4. The first 2 games that the Padres won in San Francisco, they stole. I mean, they should have lost those games. And then even though the Wednesday game was a game that they probably should have won, they ended up losing. You're going to get that in baseball, but you had a winning road trip. After taking 2 out of 3 from the Pirates, after taking 2 out of 3 from the Marlins, you're a part of your roughest stretch of the year, and you're winning baseball games despite not playing good baseball. I don't think this team is going to play this level of baseball the rest of the year. I think they're going to improve drastically. But at the same time, they're still winning games. Could be a lot different. I mean, this could be like 2023. In 2023, they played this poor baseball, and it was like, it's early. They're going to turn it around, and they never did. And at the same time, they were losing games. Now they're winning games. You're just trying to rack up wins at the end of the day. I mean, you could talk about style points all you want, but it ain't a committee picking who gets what seed in the playoff at the end of the year. It's not like college athletics. You just got to win. And they're doing that. And in the process of them winning, they will slowly start to play their way out of the slump that they've been offensively. And they're aggressive. I mean, even on Saturday, I like the way that they were aggressive on Saturday night, even though they ended up losing on a home run in the 9th inning and it walked off. A double steal with 2 outs. I mean, they put a rally together with 2 outs and were able to tie the game. They've had comeback wins. They've had 1-run wins. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Talk a little bit more about the Padres offense when we come back. Plus, San Diego State, how do they factor into this new College Sports Commission and the House versus NCAA settlement that was reached over the weekend? We'll talk about it in the second hour of the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. Hour number 2 of the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got tickets that we are giving away in the 1 o'clock hour to Padres and Royals on June 21st. We will have, at 1 o'clock, a way for you to win, say, tickets to the June 21st game between the Padres and the Royals, where you can celebrate Star Wars weekend with the Padres, June 20th through the 22nd. Join the Padres for galaxy-sized fun and secure your seats at Padres.com/tickets. Now, I will say this. There's a lot of themed tickets that weekend for certain Star Wars things. These tickets that we are giving away are not those, but those are available if you are really into Star Wars and want to participate in that. That is our PSA for the hour. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Tune into the Manager's Report with Mike Schilt this Friday at 9 in the morning on Ben & Woods. Manager's Report is refreshed by EcoWater SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. They have unveiled the hats for the 4th of July for the Padres. And they're playing the Rangers on the 4th of July, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Just like they did last year. I've noticed they've done that a couple of times now. Like they played, the weekend before. They did like the Yankees twice on Memorial Day weekend the last couple of years. I don't think it was this year. And then, 4th of July last year was in Texas, and now it's here. Seems to be the same.
Kicks off a 10-game homestand to go into the All-Star break as well. So the Padres are going to be on the road coming back from the All-Star break for 10 games, just the same way they were last year.
Well, you know why they do that, right?
Scheduling.
Why are the Padres always on the road to start the second half of the season?
Comic-Con that weekend?
Yes, the
There it is.
Comic-Con road trip. Just like the San Antonio Spurs have the rodeo road trip, the Padres have the Comic-Con road trip.
I genuinely didn't know that and took a guess.
It's a great guess, though, Frank. It's an educational guess.
Educated.
Educated, yes. The interesting thing with scheduling for baseball is fascinating to me. Now, I learned a lot about it from one of my former bosses who's on Xfinity now, Rich Herrera, who was a part of this a lot when it was, when he was working with the Rays. Before, and this is, they still do this, was even before, like when they had, remember like the married couple, like kind of put together, this like married couple put together the season every year. Did you know that? They put together the schedule every single year.
That I did know.
Now they have like AI do it or something, like computers or something like that. But, I don't know why I can't find that hat thing. Here it is. But when it comes to like scheduling, teams make like deals to get certain weekends or to have certain times that they have home games, and they make these deals to like, hey, we need this off, but we're willing to get like in order to get this or whatever. So like most teams want to have as many home games in the summertime as possible because kids are out of school. So like, even though, in the first couple of months of the year, there's a couple of cities that should be hosting all the games because it's sunny and warm. You have to deal with weather. The Padres getting to host a bunch of April games sucks because kids are in session, right? It's like school's in session, and like people aren't as interested in going to games in the middle of the week when they have to deal with their kids going to school and work and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's another one. And then the other one is there's other ones like they make deals with, like a lot of teams volunteer to do their international games to get the benefit of other scheduling updates later in the year. And a lot of teams like put in requests of, we need to have these weeks off, or at least on the road, in order to do XYZ. So for the Padres, like having home games during Comic-Con would be insane. But since the 2 weeks after the All-Star break in the middle of July is such a big time for teams to have home games, they willingly, sacrifice that to get more games, whether it be in September or, in other parts of like when it benefits them. Like there's a bunch of different cases like that through Major League Baseball. So the Padres take a Comic-Con road trip. There's other teams, I'm sure, that take other road trips here and there. But away from the scheduling here, before we talk about the Padres offense, or should I say lack thereof, here is a look at the new hats. As we got to flip everything on the YouTube here. Here are the new hats for the 4th of July. I always found this interesting too. It's the first thing I pointed out. Half the teams are blue and the other half are red when it comes to the bill. When the Padres were blue, they'd always have a blue bill. And my question was, before they moved to the brown, was, were they going to be red or they were going to continue to be blue? And since the Padres have become brown, they get red bills or hats for the 4th of July, which I don't necessarily know works with the Padres uniforms per se, but
No.
the Padres hat, and here's how the hats are for anybody that's listening on the radio for the 4th of July. And I know a lot of people that like buying the 4th of July hats, Stars and Stripes hat. I had one in high school. It was the white one with the SD, the blue SD with the American flag in the insignia, and then a blue, navy blue bill. It was a sick hat. The hats this year, again, you're either going to have a royal blue bill or a red bill, and then all of the hats are baby blue. So the Padres have a baby blue hat. They have a red bill. They have a red top of the hat. And then every logo is the same, right? With the American flag, with the exception of Toronto. They have like a Canada one. And so the Padres hat, that's how the Padres hat is. And then they have the little like rope around, like where the bill meets the cap, those ropes, which is like popular right now, but those are really for like fishing hooks. It's like a Southern thing. Like I used to be on like all these Southern hats when I was out at TCU, or even like visiting my brother and sister when they went to school in North Carolina and in Tennessee. I mean, these hats are very like popular right now. I mean, I have some of my No Rivals hats, those like frog ones upside down. I hate I get what they're doing. It's like in style right now, this like Southern hat with like the fishing hook. But to have a baseball hat for a game, have like the fishing hook rope, is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, no, not a fan of that. Like, I get it for like merch. You get like the snapback hats. I get it for that. But for one of these, for a game hat to have these, it looks out of place.
It looks weird.
It doesn't look right.
I can't wait to see what it looks like in a game.
And no, there's really, I'm seeing in chat, the Reds, the American League blue is national.
It's not. There's no rhyme or reason
not.
for it. It's colors. The Dodgers have a blue bill. The Padres have a red bill. Phillies have a red bill.
It must be the matchups.
You would think
Who's
it's the
playing
matchups.
who?
I don't think it is. I think it's color scheme. Is there any blue team on there that isn't blue?
Well, no, because the Padres are playing the Rangers. The Rangers are blue.
Yeah, I mean, that happens.
I'll look that up during the break.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Yeah, no, there's 15.
Yeah,
it's 15 and 15. I would have to assume it's the matchup. So one team's going to wear red, the other one's going to wear blue. That would be my guess.
Jacob in the chat, I'd argue it's a golf thing. It was a fishing thing before it was a golf thing. The golf hats have picked up on the fishing hat that they've had. Again. You would think that, and then you'd see some matchups and they're the same color. I think it's color scheme. Like, I don't think they're giving like the Diamondbacks blue. They're red, right? Pirates are black and gold. I mean, if you look at all the teams that are red, the only one that would make is the Marlins. The Marlins would be more blue than anything else.
Yeah, no, because the Red Sox and Nationals play, and they're both red. So that blows my theory right out of the water.
Again, maybe it's like you get to pick, and I don't know, but you have to be like even. So no rhyme or reason for that, I guess.
That's the great mystery of the day: is why who chose what, why.
Yeah, with the hats. You want to learn Italian instead?
I supposedly did in high school and in college.
You had Italian in high school? Olympian had Italian?
Yep.
No way.
Yep. Aaron Rossi, the teacher there.
I would have totally taken Italian. Cathedral did not offer Italian. They offered Spanish, French, American Sign Language, and Latin.
I forget what we had. We had English, Spanish, Italian.
We had English. Yeah, you have to take English in high school.
I believe we had sign language. I don't remember what the other ones were, but I know we had to take at least 2 years to be graduation eligible.
We needed to. Also, I took 3 years of Spanish, and it tested me into. I got tested in when I went to U of A out of high school. I got tested in like Spanish 3. So at the time when I thought I was going to just continue with Spanish or like just being at U of A, I was like, oh, sick. I only have to take like 2 classes of this. I got there, everybody speak. It's only the entire class is in Spanish. I was like, okay, dude, I'm not doing this.
Well, maybe not.
I don't know how I tested into it, but that's what I did. Yeah, but we had Spanish, French, American Sign Language, and Latin. I don't know what they have for now at Cathedral, but that's what it was when I was there. And the Latin was basically for like people that wanted to get an extra advantage on their SATs. So you can break down words and stuff like that. I'm like, what do you need to learn Latin for unless you're going to be like a nurse or like a doctor?
Yeah.
I guess maybe a lawyer too. It's like speak Latin
too.
Yeah. I'm just going to go visit the Vatican and read what's on the walls since that's in Latin.
Yeah, and you could have done that. I couldn't. You could have. I couldn't.
Enough. You could have learned Italian. I
allegedly did for 3 years.
Do you remember any of it?
Not a lot. No.
Just like greetings. You don't use it. You lose it.
Exactly.
The best way to learn a language is just by doing it, immersing yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily like taking classes or anything like that. I mean, as you go, like if you go to like when I've been to Mexico for long periods of time, start to pick up, it starts to come back to you. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you say that. That's how you do that. And then, after like enough time in Italy, I was starting to pick up what things meant, like read things and like kind of order in Italian or understand like kind of you just got to be involved with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Padres what are you saying?
I said, yeah, 100%.
Padres need to be more involved with their offense. They're winning ugly, but they're still winning. Despite winning, should Padres fans be concerned about how they're winning? We'll talk about that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 11:17 on a Monday morning. Padres take 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers this weekend. I'm Braden Surprenant. Welcome back to the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan, alongside Frank Marchese, trying to do my best to talk about Italy without hurting his feelings. But back for the trip from Italy. Big thank you to Matt Scraby, Nick DiNucci, Hamby, and Frank for all filling the void while I was gone. Really appreciate that. Padres continued to win when I was gone. In fact, they have now pulled within one game of first place in the National League West. And during my entire trip where I was gone, constant complaining about the way the Padres had been playing, which I understand. They haven't been playing well. It hasn't been good. I think they're legitimate gripes that Padres fans have about a lot. But that being said, as one of my friends alluded to the other day, and I have to ask the question, maybe we can find this. I don't know for sure. I'd have to do some research. When was the last time the Padres were in first place in the month of June? I think it's probably been a while. It just feels like it's been forever since the Padres were in first place in the month of June. If they take 2 out of 3, they'll be in first place in the month of June. So despite everything that the Padres have done the last couple of weeks, with the offense being awful, with Fernando in a slump, with Jackson Merrill in a slump, with Xander Bogaerts not living up to his contract, with Luis Arraez having a tough start to his career, they'll be right there in first place. Now, of course, the Giants are a game back too, so that's, you got to factor in the Giants, and they play Colorado and everything like that, but they're on a little bit of a winning streak. That's those games, those second 2 games in San Francisco would have been huge to just kind of bury those guys. But the team is winning games. And despite all of that, they picked up a game since I left for Italy. And they took 2 out of 3 from Miami. And they took 2 out of 3 from Pittsburgh. And they split with the Giants. And they took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee. And just everything on social media has just been complaint after complaint after complaint. I think a lot of it are legitimate gripes. But at the same time, you're going to see your team do this over a course of 162. I mean, I saw a tweet the other day. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I'm going to see if I can go find it. It was just so ridiculous. I was laughing my ass off. Because somebody brought it up after the fact because Manny's been on a little bit of a hot streak. I don't know if I can find it that fast. But it was something about how Manny was washed and has no power anymore and all this other BS. And it was the funniest thing ever.
See, this is why you like tweets like that, just so you can have them
bookmark
saved
them
somewhere. Yeah, effectively. By the way, the last time the Padres were in first in June was 2022, June 22nd. That was the last time.
Wow. Okay. Before that, it was probably even longer. I saw a couple of tweets. There was one about Manny that was dumb. Here's one about this same guy tweeted about Tatis. He's still a very good player. I'm not going to say dumb blank like he's bad, but between the injuries, the steroids, the immaturity, I'm getting increasingly tired of Tatis. Come on, brother. I think you get tired of some of his antics, but to say you're tired of watching Tatis play baseball, it's like, bro, just stop. Just don't watch. Do yourself a favor. Some people tweet about the Padres they're so miserable at everything they do. Just stop watching. Why do something that miserable? This guy tweets too much. That's why I can't find the tweet that he had. I should have bookmarked it when I had the chance. Maybe I'll find it somewhere else. It was about Manny being washed. It was in the end of May. It's he's got no power anymore and all this other stuff, and they just went torched him after that. I'll have to go find it on a different time. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Padres are winning ugly, but should you be concerned? I do want to get your takes on that. To me, I think it's a little bit. It's a hard question because if you continue to play like this, like the Padres are playing, they're not going to be very good. They're just not. Eventually, it's going to catch up to them. Eventually, the levee of the pitching staff is going to break, and you're going to go on a catastrophically bad losing streak. I particularly do not think that the Padres will swing the bat like this the rest of the year. And I do think reinforcements are coming at the trade deadline. But as I've said before, and I saw everybody the last couple of weeks as I was in Italy, recapping on Twitter, they need a left fielder so bad. They need to do it tomorrow. Patience. Don't overspend for some random left fielder right now. A lot of teams don't even know if they're buying or selling yet. We saw while I was gone, the connection between the Padres and the Red Sox probably for Jarren Duran. As the Padres have asked about Jarren Duran. The Red Sox, did they take 2 out of 3 this weekend over the Yankees? They were winning yesterday.
They won yesterday.
Then they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. The Red Sox, I don't think, are ready to punt yet on the season. It's June 9th. You got to make it through the rest of July. Even though the Padres have pulled the trigger on a couple of players already in the past, A.J. Preller went and got a rise early. Went and got Dylan Cease early. We've seen him do it. He's not always going to do that. You're just trying to weather the storm right now until you can get to a point at the deadline where you go add a bat. Now, that being said, the offense needs to pick it up. The Padres are winning ugly. Am I concerned about the offense and the way they're playing? Yes, I am, because they're paying. I mean, Manny is single-handedly carrying the offense right now. You're getting nothing out of your other positions, other players in the lineup. I know you want to switch the lineup up. People want to say, well, let's move this guy. Nobody's contributing right now, except for Manny Machado. And they have to hit their way out of it. So you do not like the way that they're playing in that particular sense. But I will say this, they're still winning. They are still winning. The Dodgers are doing the same thing. The Dodgers pitching staff right now is a circus. It's one of the worst pitching staffs in Major League Baseball. They have like half their staff on the injured list. They got a couple arms back, but they got like half their arms on the injured list. They're finding ways to win because they're a good team. Now their offense is going through the roof. I think it's going to be a fun matchup to watch. The Padres offense, which has been abysmal, against the Dodgers pitching staff, which has been equally abysmal. So are you concerned with the way the Padres are playing, even though they're winning? I think you should be slightly concerned, not overly concerned. At the same time, they're still winning games. It'd be a lot different if they were losing. Then it'd be, all hell would be breaking loose right now. Fire everybody, as we've been seeing for the last couple of weeks on social media. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Brandon in Carlsbad. You're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Big B, what it is, man. I hope you had a great journey, dude. Good to have you back. I've been missing the phone calls, so let's get hyped up real quick, fellas. Woo, here we go. Okay, winning ugly. Again, I'm going to run parallels as a coach, as a cornerman through MMA and boxing and all the sports. A win's a freaking win. If Manny and pitching are winning these games, we just went into a rough house up in Milwaukee. Look at their stats over the past 10 games, 12 games. And we went in and we did our thing. If we're winning ugly, dude, I just need people to pull their heads out of their butts and realize that this is baseball. 1-6-2. You better hunker down in the trenches when it's time. And when you're firing on all cylinders through every piece of artillery, then be fired up too, because that's the way it goes. At least we're competitive. Where's all the OG fans at that went through those dark times and those dark eras? Now we can put it to the big bad blue up north. We can. Now, the side effect of that is we need to bring home a pennant for the city, man. That's all I want, because I'm an OG Clippers and Chargers fan. But guess what? We're World Series champs and Super Bowl champs because San Diego is America's finest city. You can go back and take your team back to that hellhole from which they came from. Let's go, San Diego. All right, B. Peace out.
That's why Brandon hit leadoff today. Double to the gap. Get things fired up. Get things fired up. Love it. They're still winning. Yes, they're still winning at the same time. I mean, it give or take, like I said at the beginning of the season, or beginning of the show today, there's not a committee picking whether or not you're good enough to be in the playoffs. You got to win games, and they're winning games. And however the way they win games is what you needed to win. I mean, if the Padres are playing this poorly and winning games in the playoffs, but they're advancing in the playoffs, would you give a rat's ass? No. They're winning. The professional level, it's all about winning. You care about the wins and the losses more than you care about the stats. I think some of the stats in between can give you some signs of like, hey, look, we should probably work on this, or this isn't working. But that being said, a win is a win. Should be a little bit concerned about the offense? Yeah, a little bit. Not playing that well. Not playing that well at all. But I will say this. We have seen what this offense can do. Right? We have seen that this season. We have seen what this offense is capable of doing. With the pitching staff doing what they have done, once the offense finally comes through, nobody's beating this team. And I'd rather be doing it at the end of the season than at the beginning of the season. Anybody remember about the Phillies last year? Was it last year or 2 years ago the Phillies jumped out to a gigantic lead? Was that last year, Frank? Or was that 2 years ago? The Phillies were just kicking everybody's ass.
I think that was last year.
I think it was last year. What did they do? Fell apart. It's not who you play. It's when you play them. When you get hot. Like the Padres are going to be able to do that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Mike, Mission Valley, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Hey, yeah, welcome back from the vacay. But I appreciate that leadoff enthusiasm. But listen, man, I kind of look at it practically. They were 15-3 when they started. Okay, since then it's a slow leaking tire, so the tire needs to be removed. Okay, there's something wrong with the offense. My point is, I don't like the management, the front office, just waiting and limping to the gas station basically and not doing any refueling, minimal of anything, giving the vehicle, the offense, the team itself, any kind of fuel and changing parts that are needed. Listen, things are very obvious. Left field, catcher, you can't sit there and say, well, we don't have any money. We have to wait till the deadline. No, you don't. You've got an opportunity creatively as a management. If you have a tire that's worn out and you're sitting here limping and you're wondering, well, we're winning ugly and we're entertaining the fans, that's BS, bro. Period. If you're going to fix your problem, you can't drive the freeway with a freaking slow leaking tire. You're a 15-3 when you started. There's obvious issues. Fix while you're got the opportunity. Don't blame there's not enough front office money. You've got opportunities with Duran, you mentioned, but there's other options creatively. There's Austin Hayes in Cincinnati. There's other options. Stop the excuses. We fans watching them winning ugly is very concerning because it's the front office that isn't going to do squat for the team when it's needed. You have a problem with your vehicle somewhere with offense or whatever, bro. You got to do something to immediately fix the issue and don't put in like a little 16-ounce amount of gas to continue to down the road. Put and fill it up. What's the problem with the front office I have right now? Because I don't wait for other people to do things to fix your vehicle when there's an offensive problem, catcher, left field, etc. So my contention is it's practical. If you got a problem, fix it. Quit limping and causing the fans to be winning ugly because this is going to end pretty quickly, in my opinion. I don't care. You can, make the players stress out for the whole year, but you're not helping everybody.
Mike, appreciate the phone call, man. Here's what I don't like about Mike's analogy. I get where he's coming from. But the analogy, like, I have work that needs to be done on my Camaro. There are tons of parts to fix my Camaro. There are not unlimited amount of parts to fix a baseball team. It's more like a stock market. You can't panic move because if you, like with tires and parts for your car, they're not going up and down in prices all the time. If you were going to go replace left field right now, it's going to cost you a lot more in prospect capital than maybe later in the year. And the thing could be vice versa, depending on the market. Timing is everything when it comes to making deals in Major League Baseball. You want to try to get as much value for your team for the least amount of value giving out. So when you talk about making, moves. You cannot panic buy. Diamond hands, man. Diamond hands in the stock market. You can't panic buy and sell. And when you watch these games and you get emotional watching these games, we all do. Myself, I get upset when they lose. You get upset when they lose games that they're expected to win. You get upset when the same problem happens over and over and over again. You can't panic buy or panic sell. That is when catastrophic mistakes happen. You have to think clearly and think from a different mindset of that. Mike's not wrong in a sense that the left field and catcher is a glaring hole. Here's my other thing on the catching situation. I continue to go back to what the Padres said before the start of the season. And I said it during spring training. I didn't understand why Martin Maldonado was going to be a San Diego Padre. It made no sense to me when he had a guy like Luis Campusano. Again, we're not in the back. We don't know what's going on in the meetings. How they view said player might be a lot different than what we see on the outside. But for everybody that complains about Martin Maldonado, the Padres flat out said in an article, and I know he's not hitting this, they flat out said they can stomach him batting 200. They can stomach it, which means the expectations of him contributing anything offensively is not even on the radar. They don't even care. So bitching and moaning and complaining about the offense for the catching position is falling on deaf ears when your team doesn't value it as an offensive position in general. So you can complain all you want. It's not going to do anything. I say the same thing about the Xander Bogaerts contract people. Go ahead, bitch and moan and yell at the sky. It's not changing anything. It's never going to change. I mean, if I went out on the show every single day and just said, this guy's contract sucks, it would be annoying. It's like, we all know it sucks. There's nothing you can do about it. You either find solutions to the problems or you just sit there and bitch. I mean, pick. There are two types of people that you see in your workforce. You see it all the time. And there's people on that deal with it, the coaching staff, the players on your team. There are people that bitch about problems, and all they do is bitch and tell you what the problem is. And then there's people that find solutions. You either are the person that bitches, moans, and complains, and that's all you're ever going to do, or you're going to be the person that grabs the bull by the horns and finds solutions to problems. Just yelling about some guy's contract is not getting anything done. Saying that if I bitch, moan, and complain about this guy, the Padres are finally going to listen to me, fan, and they're just going to get rid of this guy. Or if I bitch, moan, and complain enough, he's going to just start playing better. He is what he is, dude. He is what he is. All these players are. They are what they are. And guess what? They're a game out of first place. I can't tell you how many tweets I saw. And again, it's social media. Social media is a crack of you-know-what. I think while I was gone in 2 weeks, I saw at least one tweet about every single player of the Padres saying they suck. At least one on every player. Even the Tatis one I thought was insane. I have seen this year somebody say Sheets sucks, somebody say Manny sucks, somebody say Xander sucks, somebody say Fernando sucks, Luis Arraez sucks, this guy sucks, this guy sucks, this guy sucks, this guy sucks. They're a game out of first place. How does a team have all these guys that suck be a game out of first place? Perspective, guys. Perspective. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to come back with your phone calls. Clay, Ron, Juan, Jesse, we're going to hear from all of you when we come back. We'll also get to our report from Frank, our first edition of the Sports Thread in a long time. All coming up next on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 11:43 on a Monday. Padres-Dodgers coming up tonight. 6:40. Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show at 5:40 with Sam Levitt as the Padres will take on the Dodgers for the first time in 2025. A game out of first place. Now tied with the Giants. Giants will play Colorado this week. So Padres battling for first place. It's been a fun run. Diamondbacks kind of falling off. I was more worried about the Diamondbacks this year than the Giants. Diamondbacks have had a lot of injuries. Padres will play the Diamondbacks this weekend. It's a tough stretch for the next 2 weeks for the Padres, playing the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers twice, and they got the Royals coming up. Be interesting to see. This is the middle of that stretch that they have all these games in a row without a day off. And they're winning games, despite it being ugly. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Who won the bottle cap game yesterday, I wonder? Did you guys see that? I sent it to Frank. I don't know if Frank saw it before I sent it, but Ruben Niebla was posting on Instagram on his IG story. Padres plane got a flat tire last night trying to get out to San Diego. And so while they were waiting for the people at whatever airline they use for their charter, I think it's Delta, to change the tire on the airplane, they had a little bit of a pickup water bottle cap baseball game on the tarmac. It was pretty cool to see. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Trav Gundy in the chat. No, Joe hit a nuke, I saw. Hey, man. It's getting back into it. Let's go down to the South Bay. Clay wants to weigh in. Clay, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, Braden, I'm doing great. Sounds like you had a great time over in Europe. Glad you're back.
It's good to be back, Clay.
Hey, I mean, haters gonna hate. I always say that. Ain't time to jump off the fan wagon yet. I still drive it around, and I'm still loving my Padres. Hey, getting to the offense. Yeah, it's been ugly, but right now Manny's carrying the team. But before Manny was carrying the team, Sheets was kind of carrying it. Arise did his input. Bogarts has been, hit and miss, but hey, he's been getting it done too. I mean, as far as offense, yeah, it's ugly. We're not scoring, 21 runs, 13 runs. Most of the games are tight, but they're going to be tight. I mean, now we're finally playing the National League, and if people would reflect back to the earlier part of the season that they keep trying to make us aware of, if they would look at the big picture, we only won 10 games against the American League in the front part of this season. We lost 17. And with the National League, we won 27 and lost 10. So right now we're where we're at. And if you look at it last year, we were 34 and 35. Would you rather be 34 and 35 or 37-27? And the Dodgers, they were 41 and 26 last year at this time. Or would you rather have them right now at 39 and 27? I mean, yeah, it's not time to panic. Yeah, we've gotten just enough offense, but we got awesome pitching. And the pitching staff, it's a Band-Aid pitching squad. But you know what? They're getting the job done. They're doing what they need to do. Love my Padres. I'm out.
Clay, appreciate the phone call, man. Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about the two weaknesses for the Padres and the Dodgers. Padres offense versus the Dodgers pitching staff. Two major weaknesses of both teams matching up this week in San Diego. You also got the juggernaut of the offense for the Dodgers against the pitching staff of the Padres. And now I've been told so many times before, pitching wins in the postseason. Pitching always wins. Well, we'll find out, won't we, this week? Padres got elite pitching. Dodgers have an elite bats. If pitching always beats hitting on any given day, we'll find out this week based on how many runs they score. Now, if the Dodgers win 3 games in a row, all winning by 1-0, well, you can blame the offense for that. But we're about to find out. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Got time for one more phone call before we get to the sports thread. Here's Jesse in Vista. Jesse, what's going on, man?
Hello, can you hear me?
Got you. What do you got, dude?
Hey, so I'm glad to have you back. I love Gravy and all, but it's glad to have you back. But I'm not going to complain about these wins. A win is a win, and I'm not going to also sit here and complain about Tatis, Merrill, and Arraez, because they're all major league players. So they play this game for a career, their profession. Well, on the other hand, I sit around and I sit at desk all day. So they're better than me. They're there for a reason, and I believe that they're going to come out of that slump that they're in right now. Go Padres. That's all I have to say.
Appreciate the phone call, Jesse. It's good to be back, man. Didn't talk about sports in the 2 weeks I was trying to. I was getting shut down by my family. Like, don't talk about sports. Come on, man. I mean, outlet, dude. I talk about the pods. It's hard to talk about the pods in Italy. And be going up to people and trying to talk about the Padres. Buongiorno. Want to know about the pod? No. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. It's time for today's sports thread with Frank Marchese.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, here's Frank. What's up, Frank?
Oh, nothing. I just got
number 1,
which would be today. We wanted to get a little bit more into the House versus NCAA ruling, but I think we're going to push that back a little bit later in the week. The House versus NCAA settlement from this weekend. The Power 4 conferences have turned to Major League Baseball to head their new chapter. Former MLB executive Brian Seeley has been hired as the CEO for the newly formed College Football Commission. Seeley was hired by Major League Baseball in September of 2014 to lead MLB's investigations department. Prior to getting hired by Major League Baseball, Seeley was a federal prosecutor and an assistant to the U.S. attorney for the DOJ. Good to see the conferences going for someone with experience in this sort of scenario.
Yeah, it's good. You got to have somebody with experience. It's going to be interesting the way this thing plays out with him being the CEO and the czar of college football when it comes to NIL deals and everything like that. And we're going to talk about it later in the week, just because Padres-Dodgers this week and a lot of baseball talk and Italy talk and everything like that. So, but I'm curious to see what the Aztecs can do with this new house settlement if they can keep up.
Yeah, absolutely.
While I was gone, JD Wicker mentioned to some more boosters, like, oh, we're so close to a TV deal and a new team. Joining the pack. Said it in March. It was going to happen at the end of March. Well, it's June 9th.
March, May, close enough.
June, same thing. Whatever.
Number 2.
After the New York Knicks made the controversial decision to fire Tom Thibodeau last week, speculation said that former Villanova head coach Jay Wright would be the obvious fit. Wright coached Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson at Nova, so it felt right. Wright, however, has reportedly told the Knicks that he is not interested in coming out of retirement. Wright spent more than 20 years at Villanova before retiring in 2022 to become an analyst with CBS. Reports are now that the Knicks are looking to bring in Jason Kidd for the new role. Is this the right move by Jay Wright?
To not take the Knicks job?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
I agree.
Even though it's the New York Wildcats, the Villanova products that they have on the squad, it's probably a good call for him not to do that.
I would agree as well.
Number 3.
Jason Kidd would be hilarious as their head coach.
Yes. We now go to Saratoga Springs, New York, to take our last look at horse racing for the year. As a winner was crowned at Belmont on Saturday, Sovereignty beat out Journalism for the win. And if that sounds like a replay, it's not. The same 2 horses finished 1 and 2 at the Kentucky Derby last month. Sovereignty won 2 of the 3 Triple Crown races after electing to sit out the Preakness. Braden, if you were in charge of promoting these races, does Sovereignty winning the Belmont after sitting out the Preakness and taking 2 of the 3 Triple Crown races annoy you more than him just sitting out the Preakness?
Because he was 1 away from...
Because if, say he goes and wins the Preakness...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more annoying. Then he ended up winning the other one. Because the only thing that really gets people... Everybody watches the Kentucky Derby. Most people watch the Kentucky Derby. They had their mint julep. They look at the big hats. It's a big spectacle, right? And then after that, they only watch the next one for that one horse, just to see if there's going to be a Triple Crown winner. And then once that horse does not win, we're shutting it off. So yes, I would be more frustrated.
It's such a bad look. It really is.
Number 4.
Back to the hardwood, as the WNBA and the national media in general is trying so hard to keep this Clark-Reese rivalry hot. Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever played Angel Reese's Chicago Sky on Saturday night, and go figure, the Fever won 79-52. Here's the kicker. Caitlin Clark didn't play.
No.
Clark has been injured for the last several weeks, and the Fever still won by 27. Reese went 2 for 7 with 12 rebounds and 2 assists. Is this the most forced thing in sports since Tim Tebow getting drafted in the first round?
That's an oddly specific.
That's the last time. That's the last time I remember a situation being so forced.
It's true, though. It is so forced. They're trying. It's the only thing that they're really grasping onto. It's the drama in the WNBA.
And is it a rivalry if one side continues to win like a drum?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. Angel Reese needs to win every once in a while and not just only get rebounds off her own missed layups. 833-288-0973. Padres-Dodgers talk when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show.
Fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Lunchtime hour on the Braden Surprenant Show. This noon lunchtime hour is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. A proud new sponsor of the Braden Surprenant Show, sponsoring the lunchtime hour. Guys missed out on some of the food talk, I guess, as I was gone. And as I was gone, I enjoyed a lot of great food to digest.
We had some on Friday that I kind of wish we didn't.
What we had? What was the conversation on Friday?
Scraby has a unique quirk when it comes to food, specifically French fries.
Oh no.
He will eat French fries frozen.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, you heard that right.
He will eat French fries frozen.
Yeah, like the bag
He
fries.
just pulls them out and just starts What?
Yep.
Brother.
His little potato popsicles.
That's what he called them?
Well, no, that's what we kind of.
It's kind of funny though.
Yeah,
There's so many ways to make good fries at home.
Yeah, and
you are not even heating them up. If you don't want to heat up the pizza the next day, sure, it's good cold.
It's good cold from certain places.
Okay, I forgot I was dealing with Pizza Snob, which actually used to be a place in Fort Worth. Pizza Snob. It was like one of those places. It was like build your own pizza places.
Yes,
they go through but they had rules of what toppings you could pair together.
Okay,
and you had to abide by their rules.
That's a little.
That's
too
why
far.
it was called Pizza Snob. But
That's
anyway,
a little too far.
You're telling me homeboy goes into the freezer,
and
he opens up the bag of frozen fries and just starts eating them. That is insane.
Certifiable.
That is a nutty. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that.
He'll be here in 2 hours. Well, he'll
He's
actually
probably
be here.
already here.
Yeah, he might be actually.
How do you defend yourself on that? Frozen French fries?
We'll see him come running down the hall in a second.
Oh my God. Johnny's calling him a windsock. He was a windsock last week. Hey man, guy's got a lot of gripes. But apparently frozen fries ain't one of them.
No.
Frozen potatoes. He eats spoonfuls of sour cream.
That is another one too. Yeah.
We got anything else that I need to know about? Does he put the spoonfuls of sour cream on the frozen fries?
I think we kind of stopped that one. I think we kind of stopped after that one.
It's like, but I got to shut you down, dude. We can't have you be talking about this. You're talking a fool right now. We get it. Stop opening your mouth.
But I did say the sour cream one, that kind of makes sense because you'll put sour cream on stuff. Like you'll put sour cream on tacos. So
I'm not having a spoonful of sour cream.
I said it's a little bit more understandable than it's not acceptable, but it's a little bit more understandable.
What would you rather do? Take a spoonful of sour cream and eat that, or eat a couple of frozen fries out of the bag?
I'd go with the sour cream, honestly.
I'll take my chances with the fries.
I don't want. I mean,
a spoonful of sour cream in your mouth.
It can't be worse than some other stuff out there.
Oh man.
Like I would very easily do a spoonful of sour cream over mayo. Like that would be easier for me.
I don't even use sour cream anymore. I use Greek yogurt instead. Same kind of deal. When you mix the Greek yogurt with like cooked food, like ground beef, like talking about, it does the same job as sour cream, and you get protein out of it.
I guess we kind of just stumbled into our midday lunchtime hour bite down today, didn't we?
I know. You could probably get sour cream on your craft taco. Craft Talk is so good. We went out there about a month and a half ago. We got to bring you there. It's great.
I do need to go out in general.
11585 Sorrento Valley Road, number 108.
They're opening another one, no?
They have one in the History Museum.
Yes.
But I'm going to be honest with you. Like, even though it's a taco place, their California burrito hit. It was good.
See, this is where I don't like really want to go out to eat after this surgery, because normally I'd be able to wolf down a plate and then be looking at everyone else's to see if they're done so I can snag their fries. I was that guy. But now it's like I can barely finish a 10-piece nugget at McDonald's. So like to take 3 bites out of a burger I just paid $20 for and then just be done, that doesn't feel good to me.
So what they did, and it's a great story. So like it's family owned, it's San Diegan for a long time. The coolest part about and here's your cut for the Dodgers this week. Kraft Taco was on a Food Network show, like a challenge show.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember exactly what the show was, but you can go look it up. And there is this place in Los Angeles that had this deal where it was like they thought they could make whatever your signature was better than you do. And it was LA versus San Diego, and for judges and stuff like that, making these Kraft Tacos. And Eddie at Kraft Taco went out there and beat LA's ass.
There you go.
For a little Padres-Dodgers rivalry right there. He's a big Padres fan. They listen to our show all the time, so it's great that they're a part of it.
Yes.
He started as a food truck, and he was doing stuff at the food truck, got his own brick and mortar store, and they do a lot of cool things. Like their tortillas are all like purple. It's like the masa, the purple masa, whatever it was. He said it took forever for them to finally get the recipe they wanted, but it's great. And he brought out like one of everything. And so I got to try one of everything. They have a Baja Poke Taco, which is phenomenal with ahi poke on it. Their fish taco was legit. Their Dorado fish taco, beer battered. It was awesome. I didn't have the shrimp taco, but like the size of the shrimp they put on their tacos is like this big. It's huge.
I would just go beef and cheese, honestly. That's just so I can.
They got a New Yorker.
Oh, there you go. What is it? Hold on, let me guess. Pastrami with mozzarella.
No,
okay.
It's a New York strip.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
With poblano crema and chili de arbol. That was on that. We had that one a little bit. Their queso taco was good. They have they had a pork version of like a birria taco. That was awesome. I had that one as well. Now I'm getting really hungry. But so they have all these, like, they had a lot of these, like, kind of fusion tacos, but they actually have, like, the traditional ones, too. Like, their al pastor was good. The carne asada is good. They have a carnitas taco. But they got all these different versions of tacos, and they're very filling. Like, their regular tacos are, like, $10, but they're huge. And then their street tacos are about $5, but it's phenomenal. I will be going back there. And the best part is, like, it's right off the freeway off Interstate 5, going north in Sorrento Valley, as I go to Cathedral for football practice. So there might be a couple of times I might have to stop by, get myself a Kraft taco, and go. It's in a great location. Like, you can go hike Torrey Pines and then walk over and get a Kraft taco. Over in Sorrento, a little bit farther of a walk, but it's over there.
Yeah, for me, I'd probably only be able to do like 3 street carne asada tacos. That's about it. And the third one would be pushing it, honestly.
Even the street tacos are kind of big. You got to pull up the menu, dude, and take a look at some of these things.
Definitely.
It's great, but we got to take Frank there. It's pretty awesome. And they do a great job. So, big new sponsor of the Braden Surprenant show in the lunchtime hour. We are happy to have them involved with us. Again, huge Padres fans. When I went, the Padres are playing a day game. They had the game on. They have beer there. And the other thing too, like, so they're next to a brewery, and they do a lot of beers that you can't get in San Diego. So a lot of Mexican beers on tap from, and not like Modelo or Pacifico, but like Mexican craft beers and everything like that. But it's a great place. Guys worked his way up with this. San Diego, born and raised in the South Bay, has a spot in Sereno Valley. It's called Craft Taco. It's phenomenal. And again, I've never stirred you guys wrong on food. I'm telling you, it's great. It used to be a food truck. They got rid of the truck now. It's just the brick and mortar spots, but we're glad to have them on board. And now I'm starving. Johnny, if you walked 30,000 steps every day like you did in Europe, you wouldn't have to worry about American food either.
That is true.
That's part of the food.
That is very true.
Their food's cleaner, though. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Ron in La Mesa, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Ron?
Braden, ciao bello.
Buongiorno, Ron. What's going on?
Hey, buddy. The real question about Scraby is he put the frozen French fries on his California burrito. Now, that's what you got to ask him.
Oh, my God. That sounds worse than just having the regular frozen fries. It's got to cool the burrito off.
Remember, we're talking about
That's
Scraby.
right. That's right. I mean, think about that for a second, Ron. Think about that for a second. I'll let you get the frozen fries in a hot California burrito. They're going to melt. It's going to melt, and you're going to have all those. It's going to be a water burrito. You're going to have all this water in your California burrito.
I got you, man.
What do you got for me today?
On the Padres, on the Padres here. Let's do a couple things here. Let's talk about what we're thankful for. Okay, I'm thankful for Manny for carrying the team right now. I'm thankful for great pitching, both bullpen and starting. And who would have thought when King went down, we're all going, "Oh, this is not good." And these three guys, it's not pretty, but they're getting the job done. I'm also thankful for our defense. Our defense has been stellar. And Fernando's not hitting, but I saw 3 different times over that road trip where the ball was hit to Toddy, and they did not run on him. They stopped at second base. So that right there is some game-saving things. I'm also very thankful for Mike, for our coach, and I'm also thankful for our bench. Now, you may be saying why. Because I think Lockford and Wade have been catalysts out in the outfield. They've been able to cover it, but they've also made things happen on the bases. Wade was instrumental in a couple of those Milwaukee wins. So come on, folks, let's think about what we're thankful for. We got King coming back. We should have Darvish coming back soon. Somehow or another, Randy Vasquez is winning games with smoke and mirrors. But all of this stuff, I'm thankful. The offense will come around.
I agree, Ron. I appreciate the phone call, man. You're going to have to tell me how you think the K-State Wildcats will do coming up in the next couple of months to get ready for college football. That's my Big 12 brethren right there, and Ron and La Mesa. Got to stick together out there. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Juan in Oceanside, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Juan?
What's up, Braden? Good to hear that you had a great vacation, but it's also great to have you back on the airwaves.
It's good to be back, Juan. I appreciate it.
I just wanted to start out by talking about the Dodgers series coming up and kind of my thoughts about how it seems like the Dodgers are also slumping offensively, and it seems like a good opportunity for the Padres pitching staff to kind of hold them, within 1 or 2 or 3 runs. But none of that matters if the Padres can't score offensively. I will say it is nice to know that it's happening now and not later on in the season after we've made moves at the trade deadline. So, I'm still looking forward to the rest of the season, and I have complete faith in AJ Pellet in the front office on making a good move.
I agree with you, Juan. I mean, there's some concerns in there. There's also some not. I mean, if you're going to pick a time to struggle a little bit, this would be the time that you would have. But hopefully the Padres can get the offense going. If there's anything that's going to get the offense going, it's a lousy pitching staff that the Dodgers have. Who knows? I mean, maybe the Dodgers turn around their pitching staff against the lousy offense that the Padres have. A lot of interesting things to look at with this Padres-Dodgers series coming up later on tonight. Game 1 of a 3-game set here at Petco Park. Padres fans, be loud, be ready to go. And we'll see. I'm curious to see how many Dodger fans are there this time after winning a World Series last year. I mean, Padres-Dodgers has been the talk of MLB Network all morning, as it should be. It's a high intense battle. I mean, Yankees-Red Sox were this weekend. They had no extra oomph in that series where it's at right now. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Mike in San Diego, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Braden, thanks for taking the call.
Absolutely, man. What do you got for me today?
Just going to continue on the Padre talk. I took a little deep dive into this Tatis slump here and what might be leading to this, or I mean, who knows if this is valid or not. But I don't know if anyone's talked about this. I listen to the station a lot, and I haven't heard anybody make this point. But ever since Fernando got ejected in New York, which was his first ejection, and he prides himself on kind of keeping a low profile, not causing a lot of controversy. But since that game, since he was ejected, he was hitting 321, and then now he's hitting 259. He's 25 for 127, which is $196 over that stretch. And I'm sure he's gotten past it, but is he gotten over it? But forget that he got ejected, but that might have just kind of put him down for a couple of days, like mentally, and then you get into a little bit of a rut, and then it just continues. And so, I mean, it could be anything, right? Baseball's not an exact science, but I look back at that moment, and since then, that's what's caused his tailspin. And I hope he pulls out of it. Luckily the team's been able to hang in there and continue to move forward. But once he gets going back, it's we're going to be in great shape. But looking back at that, I think that might have been a factor.
Might have added to it, Mike. I don't know if it is the main reason. There's a couple of things with that. I mean, at that point in time, he was very frustrated with how the week before that went out when it came to getting pitches called lower in the zone that were that were balls that were getting called strikes. I mean, he was having a great eye at the plate. He was swinging at pitches in the zone. He wasn't chasing, and then he wasn't getting rewarded for doing the right thing with some of the calls that he was getting leading up to that ejection, and that was probably part of it. There's some other stuff too. There was a lot of things that that I think there's a lot of things going on in Tatis's life that you just don't know what's going on, and it just looks like that. I mean, he said he wasn't, happy with whatever, and if he doesn't admit it, it's not going to be it's not a thing. You're not going to know, nor do we need to know. It's like the same thing with Darvish last year. I don't even know why he's gone. I just know he's gone, and I hope everything works out for him. But he's obviously dealing with something. Now you can give him the benefit of the doubt, but eventually he's got to come through and be able to play. And maybe the fact that he's owned the Dodgers so long, he's been able to do that. He's able to do that this week. That'd be nice to see. I appreciate the phone call, Mike. We got to take a quick break. Wayne in San Diego, Jacob in Phoenix. We're going to get to you when we come back because we continue to talk Padres and Dodgers coming up tonight at 6:40. Pregame show at 5:40. Ecowater SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt as we continue on the Braden Surprenant show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 12:23 leading up to the Midday Sports Standoff. Need a contestant for that. You'll have an opportunity to potentially win a trip to Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Qualified for a chance to win our grand prize. Celebrate summer with a spa and pool getaway at Resorts World Las Vegas, some of the largest elevated pool complex on the Strip. You'll receive a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas, dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences, and experience the ultimate in relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Las Vegas. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. If you could take me down in some sports trivia, you'll enter a chance to win our grand prize of going to a spa and pool getaway in Las Vegas. Vegas, it's hot. I mean, in the middle of summer, going to Vegas seems like kind of crazy to me, but I know a lot of people going to Vegas in the summer. One of them's affecting my over-the-line. One of the guys I was going to play over-the-line with is going to Vegas instead. I'm like, bro, I'd rather play over-the-line than go to Vegas in the middle of July. So I am in the midst of trying to find an over-the-line team. I've played in a lot of tournaments. The other thing is I got a passing league tournament that weekend too, but I love playing over-the-line, and maybe we can find something happen. It's so hot in Vegas in the middle of the summer. Dry heat. I don't care if it's a dry heat or not. Spent time in Tucson, dude. The dry heat is nice in the shade, but it is scorching in July. My parents are going for some concert thing. I don't even know what it is. They were convinced by their friends to go to Vegas that same weekend, which is, I want to see Treaty Oak Revival play. They're in Vegas like at the end of July, and I'm like, dude, July? Just to see them play. I mean, I guess I could fly over, go to the concert, stay inside the whole time, and fly home. Oh, man. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Wayne in San Diego, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Wayne?
Hey, bud. Good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Just two things. I'm an old local, been here, born and raised. And I think the best authentic tacos in all of San Diego is, without a shadow of a doubt, the taco stand. I love that place. Craft tacos, fantastic as well. I don't know if you've been there at all or lately, but Encinitas, La Jolla, North Park, they're fantastic. And in addition to that, I think the Padres are going to break it out today. I think Fernando's going to hit a leadoff home run. And I believe thoroughly that, you're going to see, Merrill come out of his slump too as well. I can't believe we're doing this good with everybody playing so poorly except for Machado. And thank you very much, Manny. So that's all I got for you.
I appreciate that, Wayne. I like the taco stand. I'm telling you, Craft Tacos up there, dude. It's good stuff. Got to go try it. Don't knock it till you try it. Got to get Frank up there. It's so good. I'm appreciative of all tacos, but I love the Craft Taco up in Sorrento Valley. Go check it out. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Out in Phoenix is Jacob. Sure, it's hot there. Jacob, what's going on, man?
It's hot here, Braden.
I can tell you sound like you're inside trying to enjoy the air conditioning.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I work outside, so take it from somebody who works outside in the heat. The dry does nothing for you.
I believe it. What do you got for me, man?
I wanted to get your take on something real quick. So if you ask not just in California, but around the league on what the biggest rivalry is in baseball, you're going to hear a lot of people say Yankees, Red Sox. And then you're going to hear a lot of people say Padres versus Dodgers. Yet a lot of Dodgers fans refuse to accept that. Why do you think that is? I want to get your take on that.
Why Dodgers fans refuse to believe it's a rivalry? Is that what you're asking? Interesting. I think I'm trying to play this. I'm trying to think about it in a sense of, I just think that, let's put it this way. I just think that the Padres for so long were so bad and the Dodgers were always just beating up on them all the time, that the fact that the Padres have gotten better and have been able to go toe-to-toe with them upsets them, and they don't want to acknowledge the reality of the situation. I think that's where Dodger fans come from. They want to be the superiority complex of just, we've always been the best. And the Padres, for the reality of the situation, aside from the last couple of years, the Padres were bottom feeders of the division, not just not being able to hang with the Dodgers, but they're finishing in last a lot. So from that perspective, and I think the other thing too is they have a rivalry with the Giants already, which has always been their main deal. Is they don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to address the situation and the reality that the Padres are competing with them at a high level. I look at it from other perspective. I was going to use this kind of as a finagle of when we were talking about the situation of, yes, it's a rivalry, but you can't overplay the series. Respect your opponent, but at the same time, not overhyping it, because that has gone very wrong for teams a lot. I relate a lot of things to high school football because it's something that I'm involved with. And I remember my senior year at Cathedral, we had a lot of, we used to play Torrey Pines all the time. They don't play us anymore. I don't know why. It's kind of ridiculous that they don't. But they don't. And it's down the street. You would never do this, but you could theoretically walk to Torrey Pines High School from Cathedral and vice versa. It's that close. They should play each other in all sports every single year. And the fact that they don't want to is insane. But it is what it is, to each their own. I mean, speaking of rivals, St. Augustine's not playing Cathedral this year in football. I couldn't even believe that. They refused to play Cathedral in football this year. Talk about that for some rivalry BS. Saints and Cathedral have played each other for 60 years. Every single year. And Saints is like, no, we're good. We don't want to play you. Unbelievable. I couldn't even believe it when I heard that information. So we are not playing them this year. But while I was at Cathedral, we had multiple rivals. We had the traditional rival of Saints, who again is not playing Cathedral this year because they didn't want to. Torrey Pines is like a local rival for them in terms of like down the street. And then Helix has always been, the last couple of years, has been, kind of the perennial rivalry of being one of the teams to compete with for a high level. And then Lincoln now has kind of been a rival, being in the same league and being one of the best teams in San Diego. But there are other schools that claim rivalries with Cathedral that, as somebody being involved, it's like, I'm not looking at it as a Cathedral, as a rivalry just because you don't like us. No, I think Scripps Ranch is one of them. Like Scripps Ranch has like this rivalry they think with Cathedral. And then at Cathedral, you're like, I'm not really interested in playing Scripps Ranch to that extent. I mean, it's not a rivalry to us. But then if that team continues to win and get to that spot, there's like this ingrained biases that you have of like, well, they've never been a rivalry in the past, so why would I care about them being a rival now? I think there's some of that at play with Dodger fans. But you don't want to overhype the rivalry. So I go back to my senior year where we played Torrey Pines. And we had players on our team that grew up in the Torrey Pines area that like played Pop Warner with those players and just over psyched themselves out about playing Torrey Pines. And we lost at home to a team that we should have beat by probably 2 touchdowns. It psyched everybody out. Everybody was so psyched out about playing Torrey Pines. And so you can't psych yourself out when it comes to playing a rival. That's why I keep saying, like, it's just any other game. It's just any other game. Now you got all the high school rivalries going on in there. It's so funny. But yeah, there was a lot of good rivalries in the past that were like recent, like Oceanside and Helix are playing each other this year. Again, they haven't played each other in a long time. That was a rivalry because they were meeting in the semifinals of the finals of the CIF championship playoffs for so many years. I mean, we started playing Helix when I was a freshman in high school, and we've played them every year since. It's been a long time since I've been a freshman in high school, and that's been kind of a fun rivalry now. You got the local rivals, you got your league rivals, you got your, traditional rivals. But again, it's insane about the some of the rivalry. Yeah, like St. Augustine's not playing Cathedral this year. No Holy Bowl this year. Because St. Augustine flat out said, we're not playing you. We don't want to play you. That's insane to me. I couldn't believe that. I had to tell my friends that went to Saints, hey, we're not playing you this year because you don't want to play us. I'm like, what? What are we doing? I mean, what are we doing? What are we running away from? It's so ridiculous. Which leads into another part of the rivalry. Again, everybody's just saying they're high school now in the chat. To go back to the rivalry thing. It's what makes sports fun. So as much as I'm saying you got to try to view this as any other series, it's kind of hard not to. Like the Padres listed this in an article with Kevin Acee about it. Like they know, the human side knows. So you got to try to play it out as a series this week, in which it's just like playing the Brewers, and it's just like playing the Cubs, and just like playing the Giants, but at the same time, understand that your fans are going to be into it because of the fact that it is a rivalry. That's what makes sports fun. Yankees, Red Sox, Padres-Dodgers, Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee. Think about all the big rivalries in college athletics. Everybody's listing all their rivalries they had when they're in high school. Why the Dodgers fans don't want to acknowledge? Because they don't want to admit that there is toe-to-toe. What did Frank say in the sports thread? How can you make something a rival when one side beats the other every single time? Well, now that one side isn't beating the other every single time. That other side is continuing to go toe-to-toe with you, and Dodger fans don't want to admit it. And that's why they don't acknowledge it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we get back, we'll get more of your phone calls. We'll talk Padres-Dodgers and need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. When we come back, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 12:41 on a Monday, getting ready for Padres-Dodgers, some rivalry talk. Biggest high school rivalry, the alarm clock in the morning.
Not wrong there. I'll take that.
That's awesome. Everybody's posting on their high school rivalries in there. Oceanside El Camino is big. That's a big one. You know, Helix and Grossmont are rivals. They play for a musket. Grossmont hasn't seen that in like 30 years. It's like nailed to the wall at Helix right now.
Do you see what Brandon in the chat posted as a rivalry?
Dude, don't. There's some people in there that are posting ones that you shouldn't. But yeah, there's a bunch of different rivalries you can talk about in that. We need somebody for a midday sports standoff. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. If you take me down in sports trivia, you could qualify for a chance to win our grand prize. Celebrate summer with the spa and pool getaway at Resorts World Las Vegas, some of the largest elevated pool complex on the Strip. You'll receive a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas. Dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences and experience the ultimate in relaxation and wellness at Awana Spa, one of the largest co-ed spa facilities in Sin City. To book your summer stay, please visit rwlasvegas.com. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan, presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on iPhone 16 Pro. We will continue said baseball coverage here in just a little bit. But first, get out to Poway. Steve standing by. Steve, what's going on, man? Steve, are you there? There you go. All right. So much for that. Yeah, all the high school rivalries in there. You went to Olympian. What's Olympian's biggest rival? It's a new school.
Like I said, it is a newer school. Like the first thought for me would have been Otay Ranch because it is the closest.
It's down the street.
Yeah, but
all those schools are like right next to each other.
But again, it kind of falls into that same Padre-Dodger thing where Otay Ranch would be more concerned about Eastlake than they would be with Olympian.
Facts. You got Mater Dei down there. You got Olympian. You got Otay Ranch. You got Eastlake. All within it seems like a mile of each other.
Yeah, they're not far away at all.
We play Mater Dei now every year, it seems like, to start the season. Every time I got to drive past Olympian and Otay Ranch to get to Mater Dei.
Yep.
And on the way home, I drive past Eastlake on the 125. So many high schools down there. And that one little area of the South Bay.
A lot of people. And there's more going up because they're building now over there. Like where the bridge is to like on the south end of the 125.
Mm-hmm.
They're building homes over there. So there's going to be another high school, I'm sure, going up there soon.
A lot of the high schools have low enrollments anyway. I'm trying to build them up a little bit. But when you were in high, was there any sense? I mean, you were like the third graduating class of Olympian?
Yeah, 2011.
It's kind of hard to have there was no hey, be ready for the big rival game against Eastlake.
No, it was mostly the homecoming game would be what everyone was most concerned about.
Wait a minute. How do you have homecoming if nobody graduated yet?
Don't try to
ask
logic.
Questions.
Don't try to logic.
Don't ask questions.
High school stuff, man.
Like that, because you're a little bit older than me, and I played Olympia my junior year in the championship game. But I remember Del Norte opened up right before I went to high school, and so they had the whole freshman sophomore deal, and then they would go, and that sophomore class went through. Is that how they did with Olympian? Started freshmen and sophomores only?
I don't remember because I didn't go to Olympian for my freshman year. I went to San Ysidro my freshman year.
Okay.
And then we moved up to where I was going to Olympian. I think mine might have been the first year of all 4 classes. I think I honestly don't remember. And yes, Adam Paul in the chat, Gil Warren was the football coach at Olympian when it opened. He was actually my PE teacher as well while I was there.
So you get so many semantics in the chat. Eastlake's not South Bay. Okay, dude. Well, you know what? When they're in the South Bay leagues, they're in the South Bay, everything's, come on. It's like Poway's not North County, apparently. It is. Poway's North County. Anyway, let's talk about Padres-Dodgers. There's a lot of things to break down with this series coming up. And obviously one of them is and you put this in the rundown, and I totally agree with it. We were kind of talking about it before. You respect your opponent, don't fear them. You know, Mike Schultz got this approach of every game is the same approach. And if you look at, you know, what he said, that was what he said in the daily newsletter with Kevin Acee, that every day, every game is the same approach. Now, do you like Mike Schultz every day? Every game is the same approach, or should he embrace the rivalry more? I think if you're on the team, I think you need to understand that your fans are going to be really into this game. But at the same time, if you go into it thinking the game and the series is bigger than it needs to be, it's going to be catastrophically bad for you. That's where you get got a lot of times in sports. Overthinking a series, putting too much pressure on yourself for no reason. It's just another series. I'm sure the atmosphere at Petco Park tonight is going to be electric. I think a lot of Padres fans are excited to take on the Dodgers after the start to the season the Padres have had. And the way that the Dodgers are not kind of limping into their extent right now. That Andy Green speech is great. I love seeing that every single time. But again, you can't overplay this series. You can't overdo it. Just like any other game. And again, if the Padres take 2 out of 3, they'll at least pass the Dodgers, tie the Dodgers in the standings. And be in first place, depending on what happens between San Francisco and Colorado. This is the first big series for the Padres in the division, with the exception of maybe last week against the Giants. And some of the Padres players said, like, hey, last week really got us ready for the series against the Dodgers. The Giants series was a hell of a series. Like, regardless of what the outcomes were, those games came down to the wire. Those guys knew it. And so you played all those games in San Francisco at a high level. The series this weekend in Milwaukee, the players said, was like a playoff atmosphere. That's what they felt. And they thought it would get them ready to take on the Dodgers this week. I think it's another series for the players. I don't think it's necessarily just another series for the fans. I think it's different. I think you can separate the two. And you want your players to be thinking, like, we just got to go take care of business against another team. The fans could be a little bit different. And we'll see what type of crowd we get tonight at Petco Park. What do you think the crowd's going to be like at Petco, Frank? Do you think we're going to be
like a full one for sure?
Well, okay. Yeah. Really going on a ledge there.
Yeah, I thought so.
Let me ask you this. Last year, I thought the Padres did a good job of keeping mostly their fans at the game. I think it was kind of the smallest amount of Dodger fans we've seen at games.
I think there's a ticket there's a ticket blackout in certain places.
Well, they did that for the playoffs. I don't know if they did that for the regular season. Maybe they did. I don't know for sure. But tonight, will there be more Dodgers fans than last year's games, or less Dodger fans than last year's games, or the same?
I think there'll probably be a little bit less, if anything.
I think there might be a little bit more. Because I think after winning a World Series, their fans have been back to being emboldened to come down here and go to games. And by the way, most of them that you see at Petco Park are not from LA. They live here.
Yes.
They're just Dodger fans. And there's a lot of Dodger fans that live here in San Diego that are going to go to the game. It's not like they all drive down. Everybody just assumes they just drive down for the game. A lot of Dodger fans are just here in town. But the best way to shut them up is to win. Like, I'm more interested. Let me ask you this. Are you more inclined to go watch your favorite team play on the road when they're good or when they're bad?
When they're good.
When they're good. Why? Because you don't want to deal with the ridicule when you go watch them lose on the road. And so all those times when the Dodgers fans took over Petco Park, it's like they knew they were going to win. In the last couple of years, they didn't know they were going to win anymore. And they stopped showing up. They stopped showing up. It's great. The playoff series in 2022, they had like no Dodger fans there. I think it made a big impact on the series. But it's so hard. Like I like the games themselves, but like attending Dodger Padre games are just just different, dude. It's just not. I'm not as inclined because I don't want to deal with stupid Dodger fans.
Oh, and I absolutely agree. And that was more where I was going with the whole respect them, but don't fear them. Was the Dodgers, they're beatable. They're not an almighty team. They're not this unstoppable force that they have been over the last couple of years. They have 14 players on the IL. All of them are pitchers. 8 of them are starters. They have big problems. They just played a shootout 4-game series with the Mets. They just lost a series to St. Louis. This is a beatable team. The Padres can do something big here in this series, but you have to respect them because Ohtani's still there, Betts is still there, Freeman is still there, and they can all hurt you if you look past them.
Well, their offense is firing on all cylinders still.
Yes. It's the pitching.
Their pitching
has
been awful.
They still don't have a starter for Tuesday announced, which I believe it was Landon Knack would be up in that spot right now, but I don't think it's going to be Knack. Otherwise, they would have announced him already, I think.
Yeah, and then they got somebody I hadn't even really heard of pitching on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Robleski, 1-2 with a 7.20 ERA. The thing is with this year, I mean, it's always a hostile kind of series. And the thing is, it's like this Dodgers you mentioned before, like during the offseason, I thought you would think that the Dodgers were this unbeatable team on paper. But then when you lose 14, did you say 14? How many did you say were on the IL?
They have 14 pitchers on the IL. 11 of those 14 are on the 60-day IL.
They got all these pitchers that are on the injured list, and they continue to roll out what they got. They're not that unbeatable team that you have run into so many years in the past. I thought last year was the same way, and they ended up winning the World Series last year. They had so many better teams than last year's team, and then they won the World Series last year as they got hot at the right time. But it's not a scary matchup, in my opinion. The scary thing is the fact that the Padres offense has been awful the last couple of weeks. That's the kind of scary thing. And I don't know. I know the Padres pitching staff has been legit, but it's hard to go through the lineup that they have. But they did that with Chicago. Like Chicago's lineup is legit, dude.
Yeah.
Like they're one of the best. Somebody that earlier today was disagreeing with the fact that I thought that the Cubs are a better baseball team right now than the Dodgers are.
They are.
They are on in the standings and what we've seen. I mean, this is the first time we've seen that would be the first time we see the Dodgers live. But that Cubs team was just on it the whole time. Now their pitching staff sucks too.
Better than the Dodgers right now.
Their bullpen is trash. But they've been pitching better than the Dodgers pitching staff. So maybe from that perspective, that's the key. But it's got a lot to watch for in this series. A lot to watch for. When we come back, we're going to tell you how you can win tickets to the Padres-Royals game coming up in the next homestand. We'll be giving those away in the 1 o'clock hour. We will also take a deeper dive into Padres-Dodgers. 2 matchups that are going to be fun to watch this week in the series. I'll tell you about them when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 1 o'clock on the Braden Surprenant Show, final hours. We lead you up to Gwynn and Chris, and then EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt at 5:40. First pitch at 6:40. Frank Marchese, Braden Surprenant. I'm back from Italy. It's good to be back in America's finest city. Hopefully, get a little bit more sunshine today. Is it starting to get sunny outside? I think so.
I don't know. We've had the blinds down. It looks like it. It looks like it is. Yeah, it's starting to blue up.
I was like yesterday. Yesterday was like, oh, it's going to be sunny at 10. Took a little bit longer to break through. And these are the month of May and June are the 2 months like by the coast that kind of suck. Just socked in all the time. The May gray and the June gloom. I heard last week's weather wasn't very good.
No, it was not. It actually rained here on, I think it was Monday and Tuesday. I think it rained.
Really? Yeah, that's not
fun. It was gray pretty much the entire time.
The weather in Italy was like Rome was warm, and then Florence was nice, and then Santa Margarita was like San Diego. It was like 75 degrees, sunny, beautiful.
There you go.
Lake Como was cloudy and drizzly, kind of chilly. But like I think they get that weather a lot because I don't see a lot of like images or videos of Lake Como where it wasn't like overcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sounds about right for that area.
And then Venice was like humid. So humid. It's like Florida.
Oh, hot next to a bunch of water? Who would have thought?
So who would have thought how humid it was? That's such an interesting city. Such an interesting city.
Yep. By the way,
it sinks 5 feet every 1,000 years.
Every 1,000. Oh, geez. So we got to get there quick then, don't we?
Yeah. Do you know I learned this, and I'm not going to make this the Venice knowledge deal because we're going to talk Padres and Dodgers here. But if you had to guess the population of Venice, what would you guess?
600,000.
Oh no, I couldn't believe it when the guy told me what it was, the gondola guy. So like Venice, it's just like a bunch of islands, right? And then outside of Venice, they have on the mainland,
Yeah.
like kind of an area, like I don't know what the city was called, but it was like kind of like Venice, but it wasn't really. He said that the population of because asking about like how locals get around and stuff, and how do you live in a city like Venice? He said the population of Venice is 40,000.
Really?
40,000 like locals. Most people like boat in or drive in.
Wow.
40,000.
I mean, understandable.
That doesn't even fit. Like you can't even. It doesn't even fill out Petco Park.
No.
40,000 people. He said when tourists come, it's like 2 to 1. Like in the summertime.
Jeez.
It doubles the population to 80,000 people.
Wow.
40,000 locals. That's insane, dude. I couldn't believe it. Because it's a bigger, we went into the steeple, whatever thing in St. Mark's Square.
Yeah.
You got this, it's like $5, €5. And you get to it looked way bigger than I thought it was going to be. 40,000 people in Venice.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that.
No.
Well, I didn't guess that.
You get 600,000. That seems like a logical guess.
Yeah, it seemed like a city guess.
Like maybe like 100. Like El Cajon is 100,000 people.
I think Scravy's mad at me.
Oh.
For bringing up his
the potato thing?
His potato
He should come in here and
popsicles.
defend himself.
I think he should. Hold on. Let me go and get him. I'll be right back.
Rivalries. 40,000 Italians in one place is simply not enough Italians. Yeah, let's go find that out. While you're doing that, I'll be mentioning the kind of the matchups in the Padres-Dodgers this week. Dustin May's tonight against Nick Pivetta. Dustin May 3-4, the 4.09 ERA. Nick Pivetta 6-2 with the 3.16 ERA. Dodgers have not announced a starter on Tuesday. Dylan Cease will be the announced starter for the Padres. He's 1-5 with a 4.72 ERA. Justin Wroblewski will start for the Dodgers on Wednesday, 1-2 with a 7.20 ERA. Randy Vasquez gets the ball for the Padres on Wednesday, 3-4 with a 3.69 ERA. Dodgers are 4-6 in the last 10. Ohtani's hitting .294 in the year. 23 home runs, 39 RBIs, 66 runs scored, and a .635 slugging percentage. Betts hitting .276, 8 home runs, 32 RBIs. Freddie Freeman hitting .354, 9 homers, 40 RBIs, and a .1024 OPS. What's the latest?
They're about to record segments.
Oh, how convenient! How convenient!
As if you didn't know that was going to happen.
How convenient!
But he did say that he would never disparage a good potato popsicle.
Did he use the term potato popsicle?
He did use the term potato popsicle.
Potato popsicle.
Yes.
Probably salty. Well, let me ask you this: would you try olive oil gelato? That was a flavor.
Possibly.
I heard my dad had it. Said it was great. Olive oil gelato.
There you go.
A little salt, a little savory, a little sweet.
The things you learn.
Right. How humid was it? Just logged on. It was humid, man. It was like Florida. It was swampy. There's a lot of water everywhere, as Frank pointed out. We stayed at a hotel that was on an island. It was sick. In JW Marriott. It was like on its own little island. It gave a lot of White Lotus vibes, though. So I was a little on edge the whole time. What weird stuff's going to happen in this hotel? Anyway, so that's how the matchups work out for Padres and Dodgers this week in terms of the starting pitching. Laid out exactly what the Dodgers have been doing the last couple of last 10 games, what the guys are doing on the season. Mike Shildt. Do you have time to get that, Frank?
Yeah, I got it.
Mike Shildt talked about yesterday on the first Dodgers series and the schedule overall.
We played a lot of close games this year. Last year, we do a lot of things well to give ourselves the edges to look to compete to win every single opportunity that adds up to, when you have close games, you come on the good side, and we've been able to do this and do that. And, I'm excited about competing regardless of who our opponent is, and, tomorrow happens to be the Dodgers.
Do you have your rotation set for the Dodgers?
We do. It's Pivetta, Cease, and Vasquez.
And odd that it's taken this long into the season before you guys meet, and now you meet 7 times in the next 10 or 11 days.
I think I used to think about the schedule and look at it and then think, wow, that's odd, or this is And then I started taking up, let's do picture of the schedule. Like, the schedule's got to be a nightmare to put together. So, I mean, there's just going to be quirks in it. So, probably about 6-7 years ago, I just went, just show up for the schedule. The schedule's there. Let's go compete against it. And, whoever's there tomorrow, we're going to be there ready to go and play and get after it.
That's Mike Schill talking about the series against the Dodgers coming up tonight. Talked about it yesterday. I take every game like it's the same. Can't overemphasize some of these games sometimes, but I know everybody's going to be freaking out, regardless of what the outcome of tonight's game is. Wanted to talk a little bit about the matchups, though, and the one that I really wanted to point out. Do you want to go positive side first or negative side first, Frank? What do you think?
It's always good to get the bad news out of the way first, I think.
All right, so the bad matchup is which team's weakness is more likely to get exposed in the series? Right now, the Dodgers pitching staff has 14 players on the injured list. 11 of them, 14 pitchers on the injured list. 11 of them, as Frank mentioned last segment, are on the 60-day injured list. Their pitching staff has been decimated. Hasn't been very good either. If you look at some of the numbers, and I had it, Kevin Acee had it in one of his articles kind of previewing the Dodgers series about just how bad their pitching has been. I mean, it's low bottom third in Major League Baseball. Here it is. From a negative standpoint in terms of the Dodgers pitching staff. Oh, I had it for a second, and then I lost it. I got their offense on there, but I don't have their pitching staff. Oh, here it is. Pitching staff has been beset by injuries. Their 4.11 staff ERA is 22nd among the 30 teams in Major League Baseball. We mentioned before, 14 pitchers on the injured list, 11 of them on the 60-day injured list. It is the awful pitching staff, or should I say beat-up pitching staff of the Dodgers, going against a Padres offense that ranks 22nd in OPS. A 687 OPS ranks 22nd in the league after scoring 2 or fewer runs in 14 of their past 22 games, ranked 21st in runs per game. But as mentioned before, even without Michael King the past 2.5 weeks, their bullpen working in a lot tight of games after tight game. Their 3.42 staff ERA ranks 6th. So the two negatives before we talk about the positives in the next segment. Which team's weakness is more likely to get exposed in this series? The Padres offense or the Dodgers pitching staff? It's a very interesting question. Because you look at it, when you look at things that are similar, pitching usually tends to win. And usually tends to win out. But the Dodgers pitching staff has not been very good. They've been knocked around a lot, especially the bullpen. I mean, Tanner Scott has been awful for the Dodgers since they picked him up in free agency after he was a Padre to end last season. Can the Padres win a series like this with an offense ranked 22nd in OPS? I think right now the Padres have a good advantage because even though the Padres offense has been abysmal, they have talented players, they have stars, and they have shown that they've been able to hit at a high level earlier in the season with the exact same offense. The Dodgers have not shown that they can pitch at a high level with the players that they have currently healthy. I think that's a major difference. If the Padres offense right now was beat up from an injury standpoint, and we're not able to score runs because they're missing Tatis and they're missing Merrill and they're missing this guy and missing Manny or everything like that, I would say that the Dodgers have the edge. But the fact that the Dodgers are decimated with injuries and they have players that were probably not factored in to be part of the conversation at the beginning of the year to pitch and give them innings, going against the Padres offense that, even though it's struggling, is just in a downturn, gives the Padres, I think, the advantage when it comes to the weaknesses. I think that plays. From a positive standpoint, we'll talk about it when we come back. We also need to give away tickets to Padres and Royals before we forget. Do you have a trivia question for us? I'm putting you on the spot, but
think so.
What do we got? Is it enough to announce now before we go to break?
Yeah, I think we could do it.
Okay. So, if you call in and you are the first to answer this trivia question from Frank Marchese, you will win 2 tickets to Padres Royals on June 21st, where you can celebrate Star Wars weekend with the Padres, June 20th to the 22nd. Join the Padres for galaxy-sized fun and secure your seats at padres.com/tickets. Frank, what is today's trivia question?
Who was the outfielder that started the kerfuffle in game 1? Was it game 1 or game 2? I think it was game 2 in the NLDS at Dodger Stadium last year.
Who was the outfielder that started the kerfuffle, as Frank said, in game 2 of the NLDS last year? First one to call in to get it correct will win tickets to Padres and Royals on June 21st. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll announce who won the tickets, and we will talk about the heavy hitter matchup between the Padres and the Dodgers as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, sending his number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. $120 on a Monday, leading you into Padres and Dodgers. Coming up after Gwynn and Chris, who will take over the airwaves for me with the afternoon show. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, before Eco Water SoCal Padre pregame show with Sam Levitt coming up at 5:40. And then first pitch, Padres-Dodgers, 6:40. Right here on San Diego's #1 Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Game 1 of a 3-game series. The first time these two teams will meet in 2025. As the Padres will continue their rough stretch here in June. Very difficult stretch. They've done a good job so far, by taking care of business against the Pirates and splitting with the Giants and now taking 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. We'll see what the Padres could do against the Dodgers coming up tonight. When we come back, Dave Vassegh, who is one of the broadcasters for the Dodgers, been a long-time pre- and post-game show host of the Dodgers and Dodgers Talk on the radio airwaves here in Southern California, will join us to give a preview of the Padres and Dodgers series as we get you ready for tonight. That will happen when we come back. But we have a winner for the Kansas City Royals San Diego Padres tickets on June 21st. Frank, what was the trivia question? What was the answer, and who got it right?
The trivia question was, who is the outfielder that started the Padres-Dodgers kerfuffle in Game 2 of the playoffs in the NLDS last year? The answer was Jurickson Profar, and the winner was from San Marcos, I believe. Your name is coming back to me.
Neil?
It will come back to me, I'm sure, in a couple of clicks here. Yes, it will. It was Neil.
Neil! Congratulations, Neil, for winning the tickets. I don't want to ask Dave Vassegh about the Brewer situation. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Slide.
I was honestly debating on whether or not to put it on our on-screen graphic. Had to run in with the Brewers slide, but I elected not to because I thought that would be a little bit more professional.
He wore that so well. He was like in a sling and still doing his
job. Oh, it's
job.
fantastic. It was amazing.
It's kind of awesome. So maybe I have to throw that in. Maybe I'll throw that in there. Maybe I won't. He's done a great job with his career as the Dodgers pre- and post-game host on AM 570 up in Los Angeles. But Padres-Dodgers coming up tonight, this evening at 5:40. We talked about the negative. Let's talk about the positive, in which both teams' strengths. We talked about their weaknesses. If you just flip-flop it, you get to the strengths. Padres' strength is their pitching staff. Talked about that a little bit in the last segment. But even down Michael King, who has missed a couple of weeks now for the Padres, past 2.5 weeks, the bullpen has worked a lot in tight game after tight game. Their 3.42 staff ERA ranks 6th in Major League Baseball. The San Diego Padres have also pitched numerous shutouts this year. They've gotten to a point in which their shutout victories have gotten to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Insane. Of those 12 shutout victories, here are the starting pitchers for those. Vasquez accounts for 2. Pivetta has accounted for 3. Michael King has accounted for 2. Stephen Kolek has accounted for 3. And Kyle Hart even has one back on April 12th against the Rockies. Now, the Padres did shut out the entire weekend series against the Rockies, and 4 of their 12 shutouts have been against Colorado. 1/3 of the Padres shutouts have been against the Colorado Rockies this year. I guess that can play a little bit into it. But their pitching staff has been great. As for the Dodgers, it's not their pitching staff, but it's been their offense that has been great. Dodgers 802 OPS ranks second in Major League Baseball, as do their 5.5 runs per game. We talked about the negative before. Their pitching staff has been awful, mostly because of injury than anything else. So what's going to give on the pitching first offensive side of things? I already mentioned before, I like the Padres' chances offensively against the Dodgers pitching staff. Even though the offense has not been very good for the Padres, there is history and the whole, as Manny Machado likes to say, back of the baseball card confidence with the players of the Padres on the offense. Because of you got guys that have done well against LA. Manny's done well against LA. Fernando's done well against LA. Mixed with guys that are in slumps that have never really been in long slumps in seasons. Arise is off to one of his worst statistical starts in his career. Fernando Tatis Jr. is on one of his worst slumps of his career. Jackson Merrill is on his first big slump of his career. It's only a matter of time before they start to break out on it. The potential is there. It's a little bit different than the Dodgers pitching staff, who is beset by injuries, as mentioned in the Kevin Acee article, that don't have the back of the baseball card reference to go back to. Of, well, these guys are just not competing right now, but it's, they have the track record. Padres offense has the track record. The current Dodgers pitching staff on their active roster does not have that. 14 pitchers on the injured list for LA, 11 of them on the 60-day injured list. So I give the Padres the nod on the offense there. Now, again, it might come across as biased, but if you start looking at the positive side, so the team's 2 biggest strengths, the thing that might knock the Padres right now is their bullpen and their pitching staff has been taxed the last couple of weeks because they've had to carry the team with Manny Machado. But every time you talk about baseball and the playoffs and what always wins? It's always pitching. Pitching always wins in baseball in these matchups. It's hard to beat elite pitching. And when you see in the playoffs, you see all these elite pitching staffs that dominate in the postseason and wear down really good offenses. So if that is true, which I am skeptical that is always being true, I have seen good offenses do well in the playoffs more than good pitching staffs. I've seen Padres pitching staffs that have been elite get bludgeoned in the playoffs by good offenses. So I'm skeptical of that. But if that bodes true, you would have to think that the Padres pitching staff has an edge on how great the Dodgers offense is, because pitching always does well against good hitting. Good pitching beats good hitting. How many times do we have to hear? We hear that ad nauseum when it comes to baseball. So if that's the case, then you would have to give the Padres the nod when it comes to the pitching staff, their strength against the Dodgers' strength. I like the Padres' current weakness against the Dodgers' current weakness because I think the current weakness for the Padres is not really a weakness for the team in general. The weakness is, of course, you have the top half of the lineup having to carry the rest of the offense. But we'll see how much extra juice Petco Park brings. I think a lot of it comes from the fans. We'll see how much the Padres gear up for this series as they sit a game behind LA for first place in the National League West. We will fully preview the Dodgers and Padres series to finish up the show as Dave Vassegh joins the program to finish up today's Braden Surprenant show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 1:33 on a Monday. Get ready for Padres and Dodgers. Braden Surprenant Show, live every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan, and the flagship station of your San Diego Padres. Equal Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt will start at 5:40. First pitch at 6:40. Padres and Dodgers, first edition of 2025, before they'll play again in just a matter of a week or so up in LA. So really getting to the nitty gritty. Dodgers up a game in the NL standings. And to give us a full preview of the Dodgers and Padres, the legendary Dodgers broadcaster has done so many different roles for the Los Angeles Dodgers on TV, on radio, has done such a great job in his career. The one and only David Vassegh joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show. David, what's going on? How's your Monday going?
It's going great. I'm here at Petco Park. Everybody is excited about the first time for the Dodgers and Padres to see each other since the Dodgers beat them in the NLDS last year. So it should be electric here at Petco tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Should be a fun time. It's always a great time when these two teams meet up. A lot of connections locally with San Diegans on the Dodgers and former Dodgers on the Padres and vice versa. As the lead into this series, what's the biggest takeaway for you what makes this series different from some of the previous ones, especially after the Dodgers went on to win a World Series last year?
Yeah, honestly, it's a little bit different every year, right? There's been so many games and series, and it seems like even though this series in June is not really going to make or break either team's season, it's exciting for everybody involved to have these two teams face off against each other for the first time. And look, both these teams are not at full strength with their pitching. The Padres don't have Michael King and Yu Darvish. The Dodgers don't have Blake Snell or Shohei Ohtani pitching or Tyler Glasnow pitching. So both teams pitching-wise are a little thin coming into this series. But look, this is the first time these two teams have seen each other since the Dodgers came back in that NLDS. If the Padres could hit just a little bit, they're the ones that likely go on to the World Series. Instead, it was the Dodgers.
Host of Dodger Talk on AM 570 Los Angeles, David Vassegh joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show. You mentioned some of the injuries that the Dodgers have had from the pitching staff. I mean, you could have listed 13, way more players. I mean, they got 14 pitchers on the injured list, 11 of them on the 60-day injured list. What has been the biggest problem for the Dodgers pitching staff, or is it just really, really bad luck when it comes to the beginning part of the season?
Yeah, when you see those lists and you see that list, it's a little misleading because some of those pitchers were injured last year and were never going to pitch this year. Guys like River Ryan, who they acquired from the Padres for Matt Beatty. Guys like Gavin Stone, who unfortunately had surgery last year after making more starts than any other pitcher last year. But honestly, I mean, I don't know the reason why there are so many pitchers hurt. Obviously, all these guys are chasing velocity, and maybe there's been a little bit too much emphasis put on it in the entire industry. I don't feel like it's exclusive to the Dodgers. But that's where, Braden, the difference between the Dodgers and Padres seemingly are, because it's a long season, and you have to have enough pitchers to cover these innings for a regular season, and not just have guys out there, but guys that can keep you in games. And with the Dodgers down, three very important starters, they've still been able to navigate through the season and still be at the top of the NL West. And give the Padres a lot of credit as well. They haven't had Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish all season long, but all of a sudden now, if you don't have Michael King for an extended period of time, if Dylan Cease is not available for an extended period of time, that's where the difference is between these two teams, because the Dodgers have guys. Do the Padres have guys to cover those innings in a quality way? I don't think it's as deep as the Dodgers are.
Talking with David Vassegh, host of Dodger Talk on AM 570 Los Angeles. He's a Dodgers broadcaster, giving us a preview of Padres and Dodgers over the next couple of days. Speaking of pitchers, somebody that did really well for the Padres at the end of last season, Tanner Scott, off to a not so great of a start for the Dodgers to start 2025. What's been the biggest problem with him, and what has he been working on to try to get back into form?
Yeah, in his last 3 appearances, things have looked a lot more like the Tanner Scott we saw last year. For whatever reason, he just wasn't pitching free and easy. He worked with Mark Pryor and Connor McGinnis on some mechanical issues, but it was a confidence thing. And there's the weight of the big contract. We're talking about a guy that was in Miami and San Diego last year. All of a sudden, he's on the biggest stage of baseball with the highest contract of any relief pitcher last year. I'm sure that affected him a little bit, but now, the turning point for me, for Tanner Scott, was last week at Dodger Stadium, where it was the 10th inning. He had just come off giving up 2 runs in the top of the 10th the night before. And this time he was facing the teeth of the Mets order, and he struck out Juan Soto and Pete Alonso and got Brandon Nimmo to pop up. It felt like that looked like Tanner Scott, and that gave him a lot of confidence. So in the last 3-4 appearances, he's looked more aggressive and just more sure of himself on the mound.
Offensively, the Dodgers have a pretty high OPS in terms of a team approach. They had a laugher against the Yankees last weekend, and they continue to hit really well. But you look at this kind of day and age of baseball and players, playing into their 30s, and, everybody always wants to mention the regression that you get as you get older. But it seems like Freddie Freeman, and even in his age of getting up there in years, is gets better and better. What has been the biggest difference for Freddie Freeman that you've noticed in a Dodgers uniform these last couple of years?
Well, he said to me 2 weeks ago that the last 2 years, his swing wasn't the way he wanted it to be, which is really hard to believe. But he feels like his swing is at the best it's been at the last 2 years. And that's what he credits, leading the National League in batting average. And he values that. He values putting the ball in play. He's not trying to hit home runs. And he's just a really good hitter. I know guys on the team that are envious of Freddie because he is literally that type of guy that can roll out of bed and get 2 hits every single night. And let's not forget that right ankle that was bothering him all last postseason. He had surgery on it. Still was a little gimpy in spring training, slipped in the shower, re-aggravated it, but it may have been a blessing in disguise because he gave it some time to heal and rest. But it takes Freddie Freeman an hour and a half before every game just to get that right ankle healthy enough to play. So he's still playing on it, but it's taking a lot more work to get him ready for games.
Talking with David Vassegh, Dodgers broadcaster, host of Dodgers Talk on AM 570 in LA, to give us a preview of Padres and Dodgers that starts tonight at 6:40 right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I want to ask about the National League West. I mean, the Dodgers have done such a great job in winning the division year in and year out. They got tested that 1 year against the Giants, and then they ended up overcoming the Giants in the postseason. But with the Dodgers only leading the Padres and the Giants by 1 game, it is early. The Diamondbacks by 6, kind of a really competitive National League West. We've heard from a Padres perspective on how they go about taking on the National League West. What has been your conversations with the Dodgers, their players, and their staff about how they view this National League West? Even though you are the Dodgers are the champions, you're going to have everybody's you're going to have the target of everybody on your back. How do they view the National League West in terms of all these games? Because it seems like it's probably one of the best divisions in baseball.
Yeah, both Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman have acknowledged they're in a pennant race already. The Padres are really good. Even though a lot was made of the lack of additions they made during the offseason, you still got the core of guys that were here last year. So coming into the season, everybody knew the Padres were going to be a challenge. The surprising part of this is how good the Giants are. With that lineup that they have, everybody's wondering, how are they winning these games? It kind of feels like the magic they had in 2021 when nobody was buying it until, they were into September. And then all of a sudden everybody said, okay, they're for real. And the Diamondbacks coming into the year, everybody thought they were going to be much improved. The injury to Corbin Burns is devastating. They have 2 key relievers injured as well. So it seems like the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants are the 3 teams. But look, actions speak louder than words. The Dodgers let go of 2 longtime players to try to improve their roster 3 weeks ago. Austin Barnes, who was a key member of their team since 2015. They DFA'd him and called up Dalton Rushing, who is one of their top catching prospects. And they also just flat out released Chris Taylor, who has not had a very good last 2 years, to be able to improve the back end of their bench. So that just shows you the Dodgers are taking the Padres and Giants seriously, because you never saw them make moves like that before. But that obviously showed the urgency they had to realize that, yeah, this is a race.
David, I appreciate the time as always. Enjoy your trip to San Diego. We'll talk to you very soon.
My day already started bad, Braden. The first guy I saw was Tony Gwynn Jr., so I'm going to try to overcome that.
That's awesome. David, I appreciate the time. Thanks again. David Vassegh, Dodgers broadcaster, host of Dodgers Talk on AM 570 in Los Angeles. I mean, so it's funny. I mean, like, people in the chat were just like freaking out. You know, you gotta view it as a different, like, you know, was he a little bit of a fanboy? Yeah, a little bit. He's employed by the Dodgers. I mean, I'm not going to get overly extensive with it. And people are like, why aren't you, upset? I'm not like I'm going to be professional in this always. You know, that's how I view that. I'm here to be professional. You know, so if that's the case, even though I'm a Padres fan growing up, I'm not going to sit here and just like roast some guy that works for the Dodgers, dude. Who cares? It's more to life than just the games, man. I mean, I'm going to be professional all the time. I'm getting a preview. The Dodgers are good. And he basically said they're good. I'm not going to sit here and just be like getting an argument with the guy based on like, my team's better than your team. Who cares, dude? It's not that big of a deal. He's giving you a preview. You don't have to believe what he's saying, but he's giving you a preview. We appreciate the time. I'm out of line here, Frank.
No, we've done this ever since you and I have gotten together. We've done this for every single series.
And the only person to destroy the team that they were talking about was Scotty Kane to the Rockies.
I mean, let's be honest, though.
I'm not going to get into an S talk with a broadcaster for the Dodgers. It's not that big of a deal.
No, it's a series preview.
You take what you get. And you're like, hey, I disagree with that. And you just nod and you just go, okay. They don't respect us. Time to go kick their ass. You don't need to say everything. It's better when you're calm and you keep it to yourself. Dan Shulman was great.
Yeah,
Dan Shulman. It was right. Dan was a little negative about the Blue Jays. He made it sound like the Padres are going to roll in there and destroy the Blue Jays.
Let me ask the chat a question here. I would ask the folks listening on radio, but you guys can't respond to me immediately. Chat, what Dodger personality could we have put on that you would not have killed us for?
Exactly. So I'm not going to and anybody you put on,
would Nomar Garciaparra have been okay? Vince Scully, there it is.
Remember, Tony Gwynn Jr. was a broadcaster for the Dodgers. Played for the Dodgers. Do we care? No.
I'm a Met fan. I don't get it. The first guest I booked was a Yankee reporter for Newsday. I don't get it? Come on.
I think I Need Money just got you. I'm just saying. What am I going to do? Let's say, because somebody was and nobody else at our station would have fired back at him. And to an extent, what is getting in an argument with a beat reporter going to do? What's he going to do? I'm not going to do that. There was a couple things. I will say, there was a couple things he was saying. I was like, did that need to be said? To me, here's my thing. And I think that we're going away by this, but to me, I view it as, even though we're on the Padres flagship, I don't work for the Padres. I'm not on their payroll. They don't pay. We pay them to broadcast the games. I don't work for the San Diego Padres, and I'm not on the team. So I'll catch myself saying we sometimes, but it's not we. I'm not on the team. And so when reporters and I think Dave was fine. But there was a couple things where it was just like, okay, dude. Does that, like, you don't need to get like a jab in. But you're not on the team. And I think a lot of reporters like feel like they're on the team now. And so they like go like, well, we this and we that. I'm like, you're not on the team, dude. Just respond. Just like report on the team. Like, I don't really, when broadcasters talk smack to other broadcasters because of the team they cover is doing better, I think it's cringe. I think it's super cringe. I'm not into that.
And listen, we're trying to have a Diamondback personality on for Friday. We're going to be doing this. We are going to be getting Met personalities. We're going to be getting Phillies. We're going to be getting Rangers. We are going to be doing this. We're going to be doing it next week when the Dodgers, when the Padres go to LA.
But you can't. Well, the thing is, here's what you can't do in general. Like, and I've learned this the last 8 years of working in sports talk right now. You can't get like a full preview on the other team without people thinking you're just like pumping them up, but you're just telling the stories. I mean, there's a couple things that he said that were kind of like some whatever, a couple jabs in there, but you know what? To the victor go the spoils. They won the World Series last year. You got a problem with it? Play better. I mean, people are upset that he said that the Dodgers have more pitching depth than the Padres. Well, let me say this. The Dodgers are in first place right now despite having all those guys injured. I mean, there's something to be said about that. If the Padres lose 2 more pitchers, Frank, are they going to be able to hang with anybody else? Like, who's in the minor leagues right now that are just like pitchers? What he said is not wrong.
No, it's not.
They have more resources to do those things. It's not wrong. It might hurt your feelings, but it's not wrong. But I said what I said about this series. I think the Padres have a advantage on some stuff. His tone was a little arrogant. I would agree. A little arrogance to the tone. You don't like it, play better. We got nothing to say. Got to go out there and win. You get all upset about some things. It's so funny, dude. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Martin and Santee, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Martin?
Braden, welcome back. Your professionalism is above board, as always.
Thank you.
And keeping it real for those longtime San Diego fans. I go way back, probably with your dad. But, just your perspective. So keeping it real, keeping it simple. Yes, we're struggling. Pitching is keeping us in the games. All of those good things, very professional. And like you said, the victors goes the spoils. And the Dodgers are the World Series champions. It's going to be a great series. I'm with you. Is hitting going to come around? Absolutely. Pitching going to step up? We get you back. It's going to be there. So also appreciate just, you jumping in and keeping the faithful level-headed, smooth it out, a game behind the Dodgers, 10 games above 500, all great. And also to Braden, I appreciate the takes on the local high schools. So I went to Marion back in the day. We scrimmaged Saints every year. That was like the biggest thing we looked forward before the season started. And again, just appreciate you keeping the local nature of the show, the high school level. And Frank, great job in producing and supporting Braden. So anyway, welcome back. Glad you're back, and great show as always.
Great to be back, Martin. I appreciate the kind words. You just wait for the high school football season, Martin. We'll be dialed in. We open up with your Marian Catholic boys at Modern Day, week 1. We'll be ready to go. We'll have some good high school football talk in this show. But again, to me, my biggest takeaway on this, I know Padres fans are upset about it. My buddy Ron texted me, who is a Dodger fan. He's a miserable Dodger fan. He said, "Is Vassegh the most hated man in San Diego right now?" LOL. Probably. I mean, you got to pick your spots, man. I mean, what is it going to do? What does that do for me if I just was going after him? Nothing. I'm not going to get heated for no reason. He took the time to come on the show. I'm not going to badmouth the guy. We're moving on. Maybe next week will be a little bit different if the Padres sweep the Dodgers. Pick your spots, guys. Pick your spots. Look forward to joining you guys again tomorrow. We really appreciate the time today. It's good to be back in America's finest city. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, and Matt Scraby on Gwynn and Chris for the Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.